Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Web Audio TV. If you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button.
Little Bun had meticulously prepared a birthday present and surprise for her. At the beginning, her heart was filled with expectations, but her expectations were slowly dashed, and then she panicked and scared when she couldn't contact her. How cruel must this be for him? Thinking of this, Ning Xi felt as if a knife was twisting in her heart. She didn't want to let go of Xiaobao for even a moment. Lu Tingxiao didn't want to disturb them, but for the sake of their brotherhood, he reminded them. Ning Xi, ask Xiaobao to call those robots back. Oh, right. Ning Xi just remembered that there was a group of bear robots in front of them tearing down the house. Lu Jingli's arm was still in their hands. Thus, he hurriedly said to the little bun, "Baby, can you call them back?" Xiaobao nodded, then faced the screen, his short fingers nimbly typing on the keyboard. Ning Xi was amazed and exclaimed in admiration, "Baby, why are you so amazing? I thought you only knew how to draw. It was really amazing. I've been a top student in recent years. I've been crazy about learning everything, but this is the only thing I can't learn no matter what. Programming, C++, it's my nightmare. But you're only 5 years old? He was so good at playing. He's a genius." Little Bun's expression was still wooden, but the light in his eyes was much brighter. However, Lu Tingxiao couldn't stand it anymore. He sighed and said, "Ning Xi, you shouldn't praise him now." Yes. Ning Xi finally realized that Xiaobao had gotten into big trouble. She scratched her head awkwardly and looked at Lu Tingxiao. "You're not asking me to teach him not to do this again, are you? He did what he promised me. He didn't go on a hunger strike, and he didn't throw things around. In the end, his methods became more advanced. What if I tell him not to do it this time, and he comes up with a more advanced method next time?" Lu Tingxiao. This was indeed possible for Xiaobao. Ning Xi spread out her hands. "In conclusion, I think I'd better not talk about him." Actually, out of selfishness, she also didn't want to scold Little Bun under such circumstances today. Her heart ached too much for him, and she couldn't even wait to dote on him. How could she bear to say anything harsh to him? Fortunately, Lu Tingxiao didn't force her. Basically, in front of Ning Xi, his principles were just floating clouds. The three of them returned to the entrance of the house on an open-top sightseeing bus. Ning Xi was surprised to see that the noisy robots were all standing neatly in 2 rows, as if they were welcoming them. The scene was very spectacular. The only thing that spoiled the mood was the wailing at the top of his lungs. "Brother, why were you gone for so long? My F***ing arm is dislocated? Is it worth it for you to howl like this even if your arm is dislocated?" Ning Xi rolled her eyes at him and jumped down. She grabbed his arm and pulled it up. Lu Jingli squealed like a pig being slaughtered. Ning Xi patted his arm. "Stop howling, it's done. Give it a try, huh?" Lu Jingli blinked his eyes and moved his arm. It was really healed. However, she was still worried and mumbled, "You didn't connect me to the wrong channel, did you?" "Impossible, I'm very experienced." Ning Xi was very confident. Lu Jingli looked suspicious. "May I ask why you are so experienced in this kind of thing?" Ning Xi said, "Because he used to fight with Zhang Mui a lot. His arm was dislocated several times, and it was me who put it back for him." Lu Jingli, "Are you sure it's a fight, and not a one-sided beating?" He was really worried about his brother's future. Would he be subjected to domestic violence in the future? Forget it. What was there to worry about? Even if he was raped, he would be willing to endure it. Ever since Ning Xi came back, Little Bun had completely turned on his pet mode. He followed her wherever she went, not leaving her side at all. In the living room downstairs, Lu Jingli also turned on his pet mode, following Lu Tingxiao wherever he went. Brother, dear brother. What have you been doing all night?" Lu Tingxiao sat down on the sofa with a cup of coffee in his hand. Chatting. Lu Jingli choked and was as disappointed as a puppy who didn't get a bone. "Well, forget it. How's the thing I asked you to do?" Lu Tingxiao asked. Lu Jingli immediately switched to the serious mode and said seriously, "It has started. Within a month, Zhu Xiangqing's Fengrui real estate will be removed from the capital." "What about Ning Xi?" Lu Jingli sorted out his thoughts and said, "The crew blocked the news at that time, so I didn't know it in time. As for now, the person who set it up will not let the news continue to be blocked. Now it has spread on the internet. What's worse, the prop master testified in the interview that it was Ning Xi who bribed him to tamper with the props. So it's not just a matter of public opinion. If Ning Xi files the case, Ning Xi may be taken to the police for investigation." The hostility between Lu Tingxiao's eyebrows was overwhelming. What he was sitting on was not a sofa but a throne made of skulls. He spat out each word as cold as ice, "I'd like to see who dares. No. Sister-in-law has your support. No one can touch her." Lu Jingli hurried to appease him and then said positively, "Brother, don't worry. I've had people secretly put eavesdropping and monitoring devices in the prop master's house. During this time, he will definitely contact the person behind the scenes. We don't need to worry about not getting evidence. At that time, it's hard to say who will go to the police station." Lu Tingxiao seemed to be dissatisfied and knocked on the tea table with his fingers. "Efficiency." Lu Jingli was not convinced and muttered, "That's a good way. How is it inefficient?" Lu Tingxiao took out a gun from the secret compartment under the TV cabinet and threw it to him. Lu Jingli's mouth twitched. "Damn, That's too simple and crude. It's not skillful at all. As the two of them were talking, the sound of footsteps came from above. Lu Tingxiao put the gun back without batting an eyelid, then looked up at the person with a gentle gaze. Xiaobao is asleep. Yeah, I've finally coaxed him to sleep. Ning Xi answered and said anxiously, well, Lu Tingxiao, I have to go out to deal with something urgent. I've left a note for Xiaobao and my cell phone is fully charged. You can contact me at any time. I'll be back in 3 hours at most. I won't say any more. See you later. After that, he ran away like a gust of wind. Lu Jingli touched his chin. Brother, where is sister-in-law going in such a hurry? Lu Tingxiao looked at the direction in which the girl had left, then said to Lu Jingli, get someone to follow her. It was definitely not simple for Ning Xi to suddenly leave at this time. If it wasn't for the fact that Xiaobao wasn't suited to stay at home alone, he would definitely go by himself. Why are you still looking for someone? I'll go. Lu Jingli immediately accepted the task happily. Lu Jingli drove a low-key black car home and barely managed to keep up with Ning Xi, who was riding a motorcycle. 20 minutes later, he stopped in front of the small apartment building where Ning Xi used to live. He paid attention to the movements there and reported the situation to Lu Tingxiao. When Ning Xi returned to the apartment, she immediately moved out an iron suitcase from the bottom of the wardrobe, and then carefully checked and wiped the things inside. Looking at the time on the cell phone, Ning Xi put the things in her bag and hurried downstairs. Not far away, Lu Jingli reported to the person on the other end of the Bluetooth headset while driving. Ning Xi went back to the apartment and came down in less than 5 minutes. Now she is heading for the suburbs of Zhejiang Road. Half an hour later, Ning Xi finally stopped. Lu Jingli looked around the dilapidated house and then looked surprised. Ah, isn't this the place where Zhang Qiang, the prop master, lives? Why did Ning Xi come here alone? Is she going to reason with him? She is too naive. Turn on the monitor. The man's cold voice came from the other end of the Bluetooth headset. Oh, yes, I almost forgot. Lu Jingli hurriedly took the laptop from the back seat of the car. Brother, wait, I'll do a live broadcast on my cell phone. Before Lu Jingli finished speaking, he suddenly found that his computer couldn't be operated. His face suddenly darkened. Brother, you hacked my computer. I told you I'll do a live broadcast on my cell phone. Don't be so anxious. Zhang Qiang's salary in the crew was okay, but because of his gambling habit, he not only had no savings, but also owed a lot of debts, so he lived in this suburban slum. Ning Xi heard this when he was drinking and chatting with others on the crew. Dong, dong, dong. Ning Xi knocked on the door 3 times. There was no movement inside. Ning Xi continued to knock until there was a bang, followed by the sound of slippers rubbing against the ground. The rusty iron door was pulled open from the inside. Who the hell is it? You want to die so early in the morning? Zhang Qiang suddenly changed his face when he saw it was Ning Xi outside the door. Mr. Zhang, how have you been? Ning Xi looked at him with a smile. Zhang Qiang wanted to close the door directly, but he rolled his eyes and changed his mind. He said lazily, I was wondering who it was. It turned out to be the beauty Ning. Come in. As soon as Ning Xi entered the room, she smelled a foul stench. The pungent smell of alcohol mixed with the smell of stinky socks and mold was as lethal as the canned herring in the morning. Feel free to sit. Zhang Qiang lights a cigarette, and then his turbid eyes are glued to Ning Xi's body, sweeping over every part of her body. Ning Xi sat down on the only clean chair in the room and went straight to the point. A straightforward person doesn't beat around the bush. Teacher Zhang, I don't think I need to tell you why I'm here. I need your statement. Please tell me everything truthfully. Ning Xi directed and acted on her own. I didn't bribe you to frame her. Zhang Qiang looked at her with a smile, as if he had seen through her. Little girl, did you turn on the recording? Are you trying to trick me? Hehe, you're too inexperienced? I'm sorry, but what I told the reporters was the truth. Zhang Qiang looked like a dead pig not afraid of boiling water, and then a glimmer of light flashed in his eyes. Unless, you can afford it. Ning Xi narrowed her eyes. She had already expected this. After Zhang Qiang got the money from Ning Xi, he would definitely not run away, but continue to gamble. In the end, he would probably lose everything. And now he wanted to eat both ends. What if I don't agree? Ning Xi looked at him with a faint smile. Zhang Qiang's eyes wandered between her breasts and buttocks. He touched his chin and said, I don't have money. I have a way. If Beauty Ning can sleep with me once, I can reveal some interesting things to you. He was clearly hinting that if she wanted a confession, she had to pay him or sleep with him. In fact, with Zhang Qiang's cunning personality, even if she satisfied him, he would not give her a confession. Then she would lose both her money and herself. At the same time, in the car downstairs, Lu Jingli, who saw this scene on the monitor, nervously reminded his brother on the other end of the headset, Brother, take it easy. Don't get excited. Don't get excited. Be gentle to my little notebook. I have hundreds of gigabytes of treasures in my hard drive. Go upstairs, now. The voice in the headset ordered. Yes, yes, I'll go right away. Seeing Zhang Qiang approaching Ning Xi step by step, Lu Jingli runs wildly with his laptop in his arms. At the same time, Zhang Qiang walked to Ning Xi's chair and put his arms on the armrest. His breathing became rapid. What do you think? Is this a good deal? Not only can you get what you want, but you can also have fun? Ning Xi lowered her eyes, her expression hidden in the shadows. Her red lips overflowed with a sneer. The next second, Zhang Qiang felt something cold and hard on his waist. He looked down, and his face instantly turned pale. It was a black muzzle pointing at him. You. Zhang Qiang's first reaction was to run. But Ning Xi's cold voice came from behind. Run. Let's see which is faster, you or my bullet. Zhang Qiang was sweating profusely. He turned around stiffly and then laughed easily. Little girl, I was almost scared by you. You lied to me with a toy gun? Shoot. Shoot if you can. Come on, shoot here. Ning Xi's fingers moved slightly. She put a silencer in the shape of a black tube on the muzzle and pressed the trigger. Puff, the bullet flew past Zhang Qiang's arm and drew a dazzling spark on the ground. All of this happened in less than 3 seconds. Zhang Qiang covered his burning arm and knelt on the ground. Sister, big sis, calm down. This was a real gun? I'm not joking. Confession. Ning Xi threw a recording pen over and looked at the time on the phone impatiently. Xiaobao was still sleeping at home. If he woke up early and didn't see her, he would definitely be worried again. She still had to rush back to accompany Xiaobao. I'll record it now. Zhang Qiang scrambled to pick up the recording pen and pressed the button to start recording. It's not Ning Xi. Ning Xi didn't bribe me. The one who gave me money to tamper with the sword was someone else. But I don't know who he is. I received an anonymous email. The other party asked me to do this, and directly deposited 100,000 yuan into my account, saying that he would give me another 100,000 yuan after the job is done. Zhang Qiang said as he peeped at Ning Xi carefully. The woman in front of him looked extremely impatient and gloomy. Her eyes were bloodshot, and her fingers stroked the barrel of the gun in a neurotic manner. She looked like a psychopathic homicidal maniac, which made one's hair stand on end. Lu Tingxiao, who was about to rush in to save her, was stunned when he saw the 180-degree reversal of the situation on the monitor. You're alone. You actually brought a gun with you? F***CK? If I'm not mistaken, that gun is a Beretta 92F? Where did she get it? Lu Tingxiao's face was full of disbelief. Then, a sad thought came to his mind. His second attempt to save the damsel in distress had failed. Inside the house, Zhang Qiang stared at the gun in Ning Xi's hand, for fear that she would shoot without saying a word, leaving no room for reaction. It was too cruel. I'm telling the truth. Not a word of falsehood. Otherwise, I'll be struck by lightning. Ning Xi did not speak. He did not know whether she believed him or not. She spun the gun in her hand again and again. My dear lady, be careful not to misfire. Zhang Qiang was so scared that he almost peed his pants. He quickly said, if you want me to falsely testify that it was that Ning Xi who ordered me to do it, I can. Unconditionally, I will satisfy all your conditions unconditionally. Whoever you say it is. False testimony? What she wanted was solid evidence? Ning Xi tapped her chin with the gun and said, give me the bank account and the email that the other party sent you. Okay. It's in my computer. I'll get it now. But the email is anonymous, and even the account is an anonymous foreign account. I don't think it's useful to give it to you. Zhang Qiang took out a laptop from under the blanket and showed her the email and the details of the remittance. Ning Xi glanced at it. After making sure there was no problem, she said, this computer is mine. Do you have any objections? Zhang Qiang shook his head vigorously. No, just take it, my dear lady, take whatever you want. Ning Xi sneered. Hey, he had gone from calling her big sister to my dear lady. This kind of rascal would not listen to reason with you. If you tried to negotiate with him, he would be insatiable. If you tried to play tricks, he would be even more cunning. The only way to deal with him was to use violence against violence. This was the first time she had used this gun since returning to the country. It was impossible for her not to be nervous. Fortunately, she had acting skills. As long as she thought she was acting, she could instantly calm down. He casually picked the role of a psychopathic murderer and acted it out. It seemed that the effect was not bad. Acting was her favorite career, and it was also her way of protecting herself. Then, Grand Aunt, is there anything else? Zhang Qiang saw that she still didn't want to leave, and nervously swallowed his saliva. Ning Xi looked at him thoughtfully. I'll think about it. About what? Of course I'm considering whether or not I should silence you. What if you tell others that I tortured you? Ning Xi said matter-of-factly, and her expression looked very serious. Zhang Qiang's legs softened and he almost knelt down again. How is that possible? Even if you lend me 100 guts, I still wouldn't dare. What he said was true. His character was to bully the weak and fear the strong. This time, Ning Xi had scared him enough. He had never thought that such a delicate little girl could have such a scary side. He didn't even dare to look into her gloomy eyes, for fear that he would have nightmares at night. Ning Xi chuckled and patted his cheek with the gun. Don't worry. I won't silence you. I'll even give you money. Zhang Qiang's first reaction was to beg for mercy. I don't want it. Grand Aunt, please spare me. I was just talking nonsense. I wouldn't dare to take your money. Who said I was going to give you money? Ning Xi kicked him. Zhang Qiang rolled up and said innocently, but didn't you just say? He was about to be driven crazy by this person's mood swings. Ning Xi glanced at him coldly. Stay at home and wait for my news. As long as you behave, I'll give you a lot of money. Otherwise, she still had to contact him? Hadn't he given her everything? Shouldn't they have nothing to do with each other? Why was he still being pestered? He didn't want money. He wanted his life more? Zhang Qiang couldn't say anything, so he could only thank her and send her out. Downstairs, Ning Xi put on her helmet, started the engine and drove straight to the Lu's house. When she arrived at the Lu's house, it was an hour earlier than her appointment with Lu Tingxiao. When she entered the living room, Lu Tingxiao was still sitting on the sofa in the same position as when she left. Ning Xi didn't think much of it and immediately asked, Lu Tingxiao, I'm back? Is Xiaobao awake? No. Oh, that's good. I'll go up and see him. Wait. Lu Tingxiao suddenly stopped her. What's wrong? Ning Xi felt that there was something wrong with Lu Tingxiao's tone. Where did you go? Lu Tingxiao's tone was calm, but it gave the illusion that there was an undercurrent in it. Ning Xi subconsciously sensed the danger and hurriedly replied, I went to deal with some personal matters. It's all settled now. I'm going upstairs. She was about to slip away when an arm suddenly reached out. The next second, Ning Xi was suddenly pulled by a strong force and fell onto the sofa. To be exact, she fell into Lu Tingxiao's arms. Ning Xi was startled. What surprised her even more was, Lu Tingxiao, you, what are you doing? Where are your hands? Lu Tingxiao ignored her and continued to grope her body. Hey, I'm going to resist if you keep doing this. Don't blame me if I hurt you, then do it. Ning Xi almost broke down. F***ck, Lu Tingxiao, what are you trying to do? Are you sure that I can't do anything to you? Lu Tingxiao stared at her expressionlessly. Why can't you do it to me? Because. Yes, why? If it was someone else, her first reaction would have been to beat them up. Just as Ning Xi was racking her brains on how to answer this question, Lu Tingxiao's hand dangerously placed on an object behind her waist. Ning Xi immediately wanted to stop him, but it was too late. The gun hidden behind her waist was instantly in Lu Tingxiao's hand. Lu Tingxiao directly threw the gun on the coffee table in front of him. His expression, which was usually incomparably gentle toward her, was now as cold as ice. The words he spat out were also like ice blades. Explain. Ning Xi suddenly felt nervous as if she had been caught cheating by the teacher on the spot. With a pale face, she twisted her fingers and tried to put on a relaxed expression. Haha, this is fake? A toy gun? I bought it for fun. Is that so? Does a toy gun need a silencer? Lu Tingxiao glanced at her, picked up the gun casually, and fired a shot at a palm-sized white jade vase placed in the opposite corner. Instantly, the vase shattered. The calm expression on Ning Xi's face was the same as that broken vase. It was also broken. There was a dead silence in the air. After a long while, Ning Xi swallowed her saliva with difficulty and changed the topic incoherently. Haha. Sir boss, your marksmanship is godly. Amazing? You're such a spendthrift. That vase must be very expensive, right? Lu Tingxiao's eyes were cold. You don't have to say it if you don't want to. Ning Xi hung her head dejectedly, but you said it as if you would break off with me if I didn't tell the truth. That's not sincere at all. Did she have a second choice except to tell the truth? Ning Xi sighed and could only explain to him, didn't I tell you that I accidentally hurt Ning Xi because of a problem with the prop? Now the prop master said that I bribed him to tamper with the prop. Isn't he trying to push me to the edge? His words not only ruined my career, but also put me in jail? Lu Tingxiao stared at her. So. Ning Xi coughed and stammered, so I forced him to tell the truth. Looking at her indifferent attitude, Lu Tingxiao's face darkened. Ning Xi, do you know how dangerous it is for you to do this? You're a girl. Ning Xi said sullenly, I know, but I had no other choice, didn't I? You don't know how shameless Zhang Qiang is. He can only be dealt with in such a simple and violent way. I said that if you need help, you can come to me. You would rather choose such a dangerous way than ask me. Lu Tingxiao's eyes were full of disappointment. His eyes made her heart ache inexplicably. This was the first time that Lu Tingxiao had been so angry with her. Ning Xi was anxious. No, Finally, she sighed with a headache. I'm just used to it. Used to solving everything by herself and not relying on anyone. The two fell into silence again. Ahem, but how did you know I had a gun? Ning Xi suddenly thought of it and asked suspiciously. Smell. Lu Tingxiao answered coldly. Oh, I see. Is it the smell of gunpowder? I didn't expect that boss had such a keen sense of smell. Ha ha ha. Lu Tingxiao's expression was still as cold as ice, and it was at the level of 1,000 years. Flattery failed. Ning Xi said helplessly, Lu Tingxiao, it's not that I don't want to talk to you, but you don't need to deal with such a trivial matter. It's like killing a chicken with a butcher's knife. But there's something I really need your help with. You have to help me, you have to. I thought about it and decided that you were the only one who could help me. Even if you don't help me, I will definitely rely on you. This time, although Lu Tingxiao's face was still cold, he finally looked her in the eye. Speak. Ning Xi heaved a sigh of relief and hurriedly said, it's like this. Although I got Zhang Qiang's confession, as well as the email and remittance details sent by the other party, these pieces of evidence could only clear my name. They could not find the person behind it. If he let her off so easily, he would be letting her off too easily. So, I thought, is there any way to crack their account information and IP address? Little Bao is so powerful at such a young age. It must be because of your excellent genes, Sir Boss. So, Sir Boss, you must be even more powerful in this aspect. You must have a way, right? Right. Ning Xi put her hands together, her eyes shining with expectation. On the one hand, she wanted to please Lu Tingxiao, and on the other hand, she really needed help. Lu Tingxiao was silent for 3 seconds, and then finally said, yes. Really? Do you really have a way? Ning Xi almost jumped up with excitement. How long will it take? 1. Lu Tingxiao wanted to say an hour, but he changed his words. 1 night. So fast? Great. Ning Xi was overjoyed and hurriedly took out the laptop from her bag. This is the laptop I took from Zhang Qiang. Do you need anything else? I'll prepare it for you. No need. Lu Tingxiao got up and went straight upstairs. Ning Xi immediately followed after him. When they arrived at the study, Ning Xi trotted to help Lu Tingxiao pull out the chair, put the notebook on the desk in front of Lu Tingxiao, and ran to pour a glass of water for him. Lu Tingxiao glanced at her and then sat down in the chair. Lu Tingxiao took out his own laptop and connected the two computers with a data cable. After browsing the evidence she said, he clicked on an unknown software and then entered a series of complex codes in the box on the screen. Ning Xi curiously leaned on the table and leaned closer to take a look. Naturally, she couldn't understand it at all. She was confused and felt that it was awesome. Just as Lu Tingxiao was tapping, he suddenly heard a soft breath. His fingers suddenly stopped, and his brows furrowed. What's wrong? Is there a problem? Ning Xi immediately asked nervously. Lu Tingxiao's tone was slightly cold. Stay away from me. Being so close to her would hinder his concentration. Oh. Ning Xi suddenly lowered her head like a frosted eggplant, and sadly moved to the sofa in the farthest corner of the room. Looking at the girl's pitiful look, Lu Tingxiao almost comforted her, but he finally held back. Holding a pillow in her arms, Ning Xi quietly watched Lu Tingxiao's side profile as he worked seriously. It was said that a man was the most handsome when he was serious. For a moment, there was only the sound of keyboard tapping in the study. Ning Xi sat there alone for a long time and finally couldn't help asking, Lu Tingxiao, can I ask you a question? Ask. Why didn't you ask me? Ask what? Ning Xi clenched her fists. Ask about the gun? Aren't you going to ask me why I have a gun? Don't you think I'm different from what you imagined me to be? Don't you think I'm very scary? Lu Tingxiao, I don't think so. Ning Xi? Oh. Lu Tingxiao didn't ask, but Ning Xi felt guilty. He had always treated her as a friend and helped her unreservedly, but she had been hiding everything. Therefore, even though Lu Tingxiao didn't ask, Ning Xi still took the initiative to say, you know, the security in China isn't very good, and it's legal to carry a gun there. I learned how to use a gun when I was there. However, in China, this gun was indeed obtained through irregular channels. I don't know the specifics, but it was given to me by a friend. He was the one who taught me how to shoot. I use it as a last resort to defend myself. This is the only time I've used it since returning to China. Lu Tingxiao stopped what he was doing. Who is your friend? Hearing this question, Ning Xi looked a little embarrassed. She scratched her head and said, I mentioned it to you, the ex-boyfriend I dated for a day. It was that man again. Since they had only been together for a day, why did they have so many connections? Lu Tingxiao's expression suddenly became extremely fierce. Do you know that the delivery channel of this kind of gun is monopolized by 3 organizations? No matter which organization your friend belongs to, he is a key target of the higher UPS. Including that diamond, it's very likely that it's not from a legitimate source. Ning Xi lowered her head and mumbled, I know, you know. Lu Tingxiao's face became even darker. She knew why she was with that kind of man. She knew his background, which meant she was in a more dangerous situation. Ning Xi hurriedly explained, his background may be a bit dangerous. I'm sorry I can't explain his specific identity to you, but I'm sure he won't hurt me. As soon as she finished speaking, she found that Lu Tingxiao's face was extremely dark. At this moment, Ning Xi felt like a naughty child who had been caught doing something wrong by her parents. She was so nervous that she didn't even dare to breathe heavily. The devil's aura when he was angry was too terrifying. After a long while, Lu Tingxiao finally said, give me the gun. Ning Xi's words to protect that man almost destroyed his sanity. Oh. Ning Xi obediently handed the gun to him. What do you want? Lu Tingxiao took it without hesitation. I'm confiscating it. Ning Xi immediately threw herself at him and wailed, no, this is my amulet. I promise I won't play with it. I won't let anyone find out. Lu Tingxiao glanced at her coldly, opened the drawer, took out another gun and handed it to her. Use this one from now on. Seeing the gun that Lu Tingxiao gave her, Ning Xi's eyes immediately lit up. This is. She couldn't tell what model it was, but she could tell it was not an ordinary gun. Can I take it apart? Ning Xi asked cautiously. Looking at the girl's sparkling eyes, Lu Tingxiao nodded. After getting permission, Ning Xi immediately dismantled the gun excitedly. After dismantling it, she looked at the internal structure in disbelief. P226. I've modified it to make it safer. Lu Tingxiao still didn't look too good. Because Ning Xi's knowledge of firearms, how to use a gun, and disassembly and assembly methods were obviously taught by that man. Ning Xi touched the gun fondly, then glanced at him weakly. Well, it's dangerous to have a 92F, but you actually got a P226, isn't that? It was said that the 92F was the best gun in the world, but very few people knew that the P226 was the best. It was only because of its high price that it wasn't as popular as the 92F. Lu Tingxiao's face turned cold. You think I'm in danger? Ning Xi shook her head like a rattle drum. No. How could this be? Boss, you're the best? You are my little angel? Are you tired? Are your shoulders sore? I'll pinch it for you. You can do it. After saying that, she ran behind him and massaged his shoulders with all her might. Listening to the girl's sweet and soft voice, although he knew she was deliberately coaxing him to please him, Lu Tingxiao immediately calmed down. But soon, his expression tightened again. The girl's soft and boneless hands squeezed his shoulders with moderate strength. She even massaged his neck and temples in an extremely professional manner. The warm touch and the right amount of strength were very comfortable, but also very scary. That's enough. Lu Tingxiao was forced to stop in order to prevent himself from losing control. Oh, Ning Xi didn't think much of it and continued to study the gun. Then she looked at Lu Tingxiao uncertainly and asked, "This gun, are you really going to give it to me?" Lu Tingxiao said, "It's your birthday gift. This gift is really special." Ning Xi gently touched the gun. "Thank you, I like it." This gun was indeed safer. Plus, it looked low-key. Unless it was dismantled, no one would be able to tell what kind of gun it was. It was much more convenient to use. Ning Xi looked at the gun and her eyes turned red. "Lu Tingxiao, thank you. No one has ever been so nice to me." Lu Tingxiao's heart skipped a beat. Just as he was about to speak, Ning Xi said emotionally, "I feel like a father." Lu Tingxiao was speechless. This evaluation was high enough, but he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "It's so late. You must be hungry. I'll make you supper." After Ning Xi eagerly ran out, Lu Tingxiao quietly dismantled the gun. As he expected, the serial number had been erased. However, the identity of the other party had been reduced. 10 minutes later, Ning Xi came in with a bowl of steaming food. "Lu Tingxiao, are the dumplings okay? I saw that there were leftovers in the fridge, so I made some for you." "Leave it." "Okay." Seeing how busy Lu Tingxiao was, Ning Xi felt a little guilty, so she picked up the bowl and said, "Let me feed you." Lu Tingxiao frowned. He wanted to refuse but couldn't bring himself to say it out loud. I'll feed you, just do what you need to do." Ning Xi quickly picked up a dumpling and carefully blew on it before bringing it to his mouth. Lu Tingxiao stared at the computer screen with a solemn expression. He opened his mouth and ate the dumpling expressionlessly. "Why didn't I find it so delicious last time?" Ning Xi continued to feed the dumplings one by one until the bowl was empty. "Take a break. I'm almost done." Lu Tingxiao returned Zhang Qiang's computer to him and began to concentrate on his own computer. "Oh, okay." Ning Xi sat on the sofa in the corner with her laptop. Because she was bored, she looked through Zhang Qiang's computer to see if she could find any other clues. In the end, she actually found it. She found a folder labeled Important Secret in the D drive. After opening it, she found that there were many video files inside. Could it be that the fellow had hidden some evidence from her? Ning Xi clicked on one of the videos suspiciously. As soon as she clicked on it, Ning Xi felt that something was wrong, but it was too late for her to react. The next second, there was a burst of blushing and heart-pounding sounds coming from the computer, which sounded abnormally clear in the quiet study. Ning Xi, Lu Tingxiao. Ning Xi wanted to dig a hole and bury herself in it. Because she was too flustered, she couldn't turn off the video even after clicking it several times. In the end, Lu Tingxiao couldn't stand it anymore. He walked over and reached out to help her turn it off. Ning Xi threw the computer away and said in a complaining tone, "There's a document on his computer labeled as Important Confidential. I thought it was some evidence. Damn, I should have known. In a man's computer, this kind of suspicious folder must be this kind of thing." Looking at the girl's indignant look, Lu Tingxiao pinched his eyebrows and sighed helplessly. "It's done. Come and have a look." He had said that it would take one night to get it done out of selfishness, hoping to spend more time with her. But now it seemed that if he continued to be tormented by her, he didn't know what would happen. Hearing this, Ning Xi immediately threw all the awkwardness to the back of her mind. "Done? All of it?" Lu Tingxiao nodded and motioned her to come and see for herself. At first, Ning Xi was worried that she couldn't understand it, but found that Lu Tingxiao didn't let her see the complicated process, but directly showed the result to her. The IP address that sent the email was from Pearl River Imperial View, where Ning Xi lived. The owner of the anonymous account abroad was Kui Kaijing, Ning Xi assistant. "I thought this kind of black technology only existed on TV. Especially the anonymous account, it is very secure. It is almost impossible to hack into the bank system." Ning Xi was so excited that she couldn't speak for a long time. Finally, she hugged Lu Tingxiao. "Boss, you are so great." Lu Tingxiao. At this moment, Lu Tingxiao found that he had to face a problem. Now Ning Xi did trust him completely, but she trusted him too much, and even forgot that he was a man. In short, she regarded him as a mentor, a helpful friend, even a father, but not a man. This was really a headache. But it was also a good sign. The time he had been waiting for was finally coming. "What are you going to do with the evidence?" Lu Tingxiao asked after adjusting his mood. "Don't rush to announce it. Let Ning Xi continue to make trouble. The more trouble she makes now, the harder she will be slapped in the face." "I am going to do what?" Lu Tingxiao, help me, why do I suddenly feel the ground is shaking?" As soon as the word shaking was finished, Ning Xi's vision went black and she fell to the ground with a thud. Ning Xi Lu Tingxiao's face suddenly changed and he hurriedly helped her up. The soft body in his arms was like a hot fireball. He reached out to touch her forehead. It was really hot. He had noticed it before, but he had always thought it was a psychological effect. He didn't expect that she was sick. Lu Tingxiao carried the person in his arms and ran downstairs quickly. "Uncle Yuan, get the car ready." The old butler was also surprised. "What's wrong with Miss Xioxi?" "I don't know. Lu Tingxiao was so panicked that even his iceberg mask broke. I don't know. He didn't know if it was because of the residual effects of the medicine, or if it was simply a fever, or if Zhu Xiangcheng had fed her some other messy things. At this moment, Lu Tingxiao was about to be drowned in self-blame. He should have taken her to the hospital for a checkup as soon as possible, but not only did he not, but he also delayed it for so long, making her so tired. So many things had happened this time. How much pressure must she be under? Forcing herself to hold on until now was probably her limit. Young master, don't be too nervous. I think Miss Xioxi just has a fever. Why don't we call the family doctor to come and have a look? At this moment, Lu Tingxiao could no longer hear anything. As soon as the driver drove the car over, he immediately carried her into the car, to the hospital. He then instructed the butler outside the carriage, informed Qin Mufeng to come as well. Yes, the butler had no choice but to agree. If he was still a little uncertain before, he understood everything after seeing the young master's reaction. This girl was most likely going to be their future young mistress. When the housekeeper called Qin Mufeng was in a bar and Lu Jingli was drinking and gossiping with him. Hearing that Ning Xi suddenly fainted, they immediately rushed to the hospital. In the ward on the top floor of the capital's First People's Hospital. As soon as Qin Mufeng and Lu Jingli arrived, they saw Ning Xi lying on the bed with a pale face and an 4 drip on the back of her hand. Lu Tingxiao, who was sitting in a chair beside the bed, looked solemn and gloomy. Lu Jingli and Qin Mufeng looked at each other, obviously frightened by Lu Tingxiao's expression. Just then, a nurse came over with medicine. Lu Jingli hurriedly stopped her and asked quietly, "How is the patient? What's wrong? Is it serious?" "The patient has a fever. 39.6 degrees Celsius, the nurse answered. "Oh, fever. What? Fever?" Lu Jingli was confused. "Are you sure it's a fever? Just a fever?" "Yes, she's had a full body examination. There's nothing wrong. Don't worry. The gentleman in the ward has asked me many times." She didn't look impatient at all because, whether it was the man inside or the two at the door, they were all too handsome. She would answer even if he asked her 100 times. Lu Jingli weakly held onto the door frame and touched his beating heart. "Dear brother, are you trying to scare me to death? She just has a fever. Why do you look as if she has a terminal illness?" Qin Mufeng's face was full of helplessness. "They even called me over. Although I'm a doctor, I'm a psychiatrist." Lu Tingxiao looked up and glanced at Qin Mufeng coldly. "Now that Ning Xi has replaced you, maybe I should save some money." He was implying that he was going to fire him. He paid Qin Mufeng a lot of money every year. "Ahem, don't. I have many other uses. I know a very famous nutritionist in this hospital. I'll call him over right now to help Ning Xi recuperate herself." Qin Mufeng did feel a little guilty. Ever since Ning Xi came, he had too much free time. Whether it was Xiaobao or Lu Tingxiao, they rarely needed his help. He even stopped his weekly psychotherapy. After Qin Mufeng left, Lu Jingli saw Lu Tingxiao looking down at his phone. He couldn't help but ask, "Brother, what are you looking at?" When did his brother become an internet addict? As a result, he was shocked when he got closer. His brother had actually copied the surveillance video into his phone. "Damn, brother, why are you looking at this?" Little Zixi's expression was so scary that I got goosebumps when I saw it. "I don't know if she's acting or if it's real." Lu Jingli shuddered as he spoke. But now, his brother was actually playing it on loop, and with a magical expression of "Oh, my wife is so cute." It was really hopeless. "But the two of you are really telepathic, even thinking of the same method? It was all so simple and crude. Tisk tisk, you're really a family." Lu Jingli sighed. Lu Tingxiao caressed the face of the girl lying on the bed. His expression was one of pride and pride. To avoid being blinded, Lu Jingli turned his head away. "You must have figured out the identity of the other party, right? Are you going to publish it on the internet to clear little Zixi's name? Shall I do it now?" A cold glint flashed across Lu Tingxiao's eyes. "There's no hurry." Lu Jingli touched his chin. "That's right. Anyway, we have a trump card. It will be more fun to let her make a fuss. Prepare a contract for Ning Xi," Lu Tingxiao said. Lu Jingli's eyes lit up. "A contract? Brother, are you finally going to get sister-in-law into Shenxi? Prepare a copy of all the agent's information for me." This was an indirect answer to Lu Jingli's question. I know. You are going to pick an agent for Zixi, right? I would be satisfied if you were 1,000th as nice to me as Zixi," Lu Jingli complained sourly. Lu Tingxiao glanced at him, then suddenly extended his hand towards him. Lu Jingli thought that he was going to hit him and subconsciously moved back. What did I say wrong again? However, Lu Tingxiao just reached out and patted the back of his neck. It was a very intimate gesture for his brother. Lu Jingli was so flattered that even his ears were a little red. "Brother, what are you doing?" Lu Tingxiao frowned at him and said in a gentle tone, "Don't just think about playing all day. Work hard and find someone you like." Lu Jingli was stunned and then his body trembled. "Oh my god, you scared me. Brother, you are so gentle to me. It's scarier than beating me up." "I'll help you keep an eye on your marriage," Lu Tingxiao said. "Oh, no, brother, you should continue to let me be. Please let me be. I won't say anything bad about you anymore. You can continue to be so cold." Lu Jingli was so scared that he almost wet his pants. What if his brother picked a woman who was as scary as him? If he picked a woman like Zixi, he would not be able to handle it. He was not that hardcore. He liked women who were gentler. At this time, Lu Tingxiao suddenly had an idea. Brother, this is not something a man should worry about. Why don't you wait for sister-in-law to help me introduce her to me? My sister-in-law has good taste. Lu Tingxiao thought for a moment and said, okay. Lu Tingxiao patted his chest and heaved a sigh of relief. It was a narrow escape from death. He used to change girlfriends quite quickly, but now he had been single for more than half a year. He didn't know why, but he felt that it was getting more and more boring. At the moment, he really didn't want to have a girlfriend at all. Especially after seeing his brother and Ning Xi, he felt that his so-called love life was meaningless. Okay, he admitted, he was jealous. He was jealous that although his brother had waited for 32 years, his true love had finally arrived. And he didn't know if he could live to see that day. The more Lu Tingxiao thought about it, the sadder he became. He didn't want to stay here and be abused anymore. Brother, if there's nothing else, I'll leave first. I will send the things you want to you as soon as possible. Bye. Ning Xi slept until the evening of the next day. When she opened her eyes again, her body was light and her mind was in a daze, as if she had been in a different world. This was the scene that Lu Tingxiao saw when he pushed the door open and came in. Under the afterglow of the setting sun outside the window, the girl was wearing a loose hospital gown. She looked like she had just woken up and was sitting on the pure white hospital bed in a daze. She looked particularly pitiful and made people want to hold her in their arms. You're awake. Lu Tingxiao didn't want to disturb her, so he walked over softly and rubbed her messy hair gently. Lu Tingxiao. Ning Xi looked at the person who had come. Well, how are you feeling? Ning Xi looked confused. Is this the hospital? What happened to me? You fainted last night with a high fever of 39 degrees. Lu Tingxiao's face darkened as he recalled how she had suddenly fainted last night. Ning Xi scratched her head. I have a fever? I was wondering why my body felt so weak and powerless. You're hungry. You've slept for almost a day and a night. Lu Tingxiao helped her open the dining table and put a pillow behind her. I guessed you would wake up soon, so I bought you dinner. Thank you. Ning Xi looked at the busy man in front of her, pursed her lips and couldn't help touching his chin. Lu Tingxiao was startled by the warmth of his fingertips. He looked at the girl with an incomparably gentle gaze. Huh? What's wrong? Ning Xi frowned as she looked at his haggard face and the green stubble on his chin. Did you take care of me for the whole night? You even have stubble. It's okay, I slept for a while. In fact, she hadn't slept for a minute, nor was she in the mood to wash up. She didn't feel relieved until he woke up. Let's eat. Because it's not suitable for you to eat greasy food now, there's only plain porridge. When you recover, I'll buy you something delicious. Lu Tingxiao took out the bowl and spoon and handed it to her. Do you have the energy to eat? Do you need my help? Ning Xi didn't say a word or move. Lu Tingxiao looked up at her suspiciously. What's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? I'll call the doctor. Ning Xi hurriedly grabbed him. Hey, I'm fine. I just didn't wake up and was in a daze. Lu Tingxiao sighed. What you need most now is a good rest. Don't let your imagination run wild. Okay. Ning Xi nodded and buried her head in the porridge, but the expression on her face was very absent-minded. Lu Tingxiao was so nice to her that she almost panicked. It wasn't that she didn't notice it. In fact, his attitude towards her had always been like this from the very beginning. It was just that she had been deliberately ignoring it and even gradually getting used to it. Was everything that the man in front of her had done just to repay her kindness? Even if he treated her as a friend, could a friend go to such an extent? Because his mind was in a mess and there were too many things that he had to deal with, this thought only flashed past his mind. After eating, Ning Xi finally recovered some energy. She quickly cleared her mind of all the messy thoughts and began to deal with business. Lu Tingxiao, do you have my phone? Lu Tingxiao looked displeased. Didn't you just say that you want to rest well? Ning Xi put her palms together. I've slept for so long and I've had enough rest. I'm full now. If you don't let me do something now, I'll go moldy. Lu Tingxiao saw that her complexion was indeed much better, and he couldn't stand her pleading eyes, so he finally gave her the phone. Then, he went to get a thermometer. Take your temperature. Ning Xi obediently opened her mouth to put the thermometer in her mouth, then immediately opened the website and began to browse the entertainment section. The crew of the world staged a conspiracy, and the vicious beauty did anything to get ahead. Was Ning Xueluo's injury an accident or a premeditated murder? Starlight Entertainment said that they would resolutely resist unfair competition and protect the safety and rights of their artists. Ning Xueluo's studio had already sent a lawyer's letter, and Ning Xi had disappeared and had not responded yet. Then, Ning Xi opened Weibo and saw that the screen was filled with insults. It was several times more vicious than the one with Jia Qingqing. After all, compared to Jia Qingqing, Ning Xueluo was much more popular and her fans were much stronger. Ning Xi, that B*TCH, has been hiding all this time. She must be feeling guilty. Did she run away because she saw that the matter had been exposed? After all, this time, she has attempted murder. If she goes to court, she will definitely go to jail. Being defamed once is because people are jealous. She must have a problem with her character if she keeps causing trouble like this. Moreover, this time, she was caught red-handed. Xueluo's reputation in the entertainment industry is well known. She even helped her junior several times. I didn't expect her to bite the hand that fed her and do such a thing. It's because of people like her that the atmosphere in the entertainment industry is getting worse. Don't you think that this was all Ning Xi's plot from the beginning? First, she killed Jia Qingqing to secure the second female lead position. Then, she prepared to injure Ning Xi to get the first female lead position. It's scary to think about it. It's too scary. Indeed, beautiful women are all bad things. Lu Tingxiao glanced at the malicious comments on her phone and frowned. Stop looking. Ning Xi sat cross-legged and shouted at the thermometer. It's okay. It's fun to look at it. Measure it carefully. Don't talk. Oh, you're obviously trying to talk to me. After finally measuring it, Lu Tingxiao looked at the thermometer. 37.1 degrees. Ning Xi immediately said proudly, I told you that I'm fine. Actually, my body is very good. Can I leave the hospital now? Stay for a few more days to observe. I still have to stay. But I miss my baby Xiaobai. Ning Xi pulled Xiaobao out. He's already on his way here. Lu Tingxiao's tone did not leave any room for negotiation. Okay. Ning Xi was finally speechless. Lu Tingxiao cleared the dining table and sat on the chair beside the bed. What are you going to do next? Ning Xi immediately thought of something. I was just about to tell you. Can you send a copy of the evidence to my phone? I'm going to forward it to someone first. Lu Tingxiao glanced at her. Zhang Qiang. Ning Xi was used to Lu Tingxiao's IQ, but she still couldn't help admiring him. No wonder you're Mr. Boss. Too smart. I'm going to let Zhang Qiang blackmail Ning Xi with this evidence. As soon as Ning Xi finished speaking excitedly, she coughed dryly and glanced at Lu Tingxiao uneasily. Am I being too vicious? Lu Tingxiao didn't answer. Instead, he analyzed, the point is, it's not good for you. It's too easy for Zhang Qiang. Ning Xi scratched her head. You're right, but my main purpose is to mess with Ning Xi. I didn't think much about anything else. Lu Tingxiao thought for a while and said, why not go by yourself instead of letting Zhang Qiang take advantage of it? Ning Xi's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Is this possible? Why not? Lu Tingxiao asked. Based on Ning Xi tolerance level, you can ask her for 8 million yuan. This is the best time for you to terminate the contract with Xing Hui. You can use the money to pay for the breach of contract. After hearing Lu Tingxiao's words, Ning Xi was speechless. At most, she would order others around, but not only did the devil not despise her behavior, he even taught her to be worse. However, it was a perfect move. It was just that extortion was not something that he could get over if he were to do it himself. Ning Xi bit her lips as she recalled what happened that night. She sneered in her heart. What's there to be afraid of? We've already done this much. Ning Xi quickly made up her mind. All right, send it to me. I'll contact Ning Xi right now. There's no need for that. I'll help you. This way, no one will be able to find your IP address. Lu Tingxiao said. Ning Xi looked at Lu Tingxiao as if he was a god. Her eyes sparkled as she said, Guru Lu, I realized that this skill of yours is amazing. Are you taking in any disciples? Lu Tingxiao was in a good mood when he saw the adoration in the girl's eyes. He glanced at her and said, no. Ning Xi's face was filled with disappointment. Oh, so he's not taking me in? Boss Lu was a busy man, how could he take in disciples? Lu Tingxiao looked at her deeply. There's actually a faster way to get this skill. What is it? Ning Xi immediately perked up. Lu Tingxiao said, marry me? If she married him, everything he had would be hers. What else did she need to learn? Cough cough cough. Ning Xi almost choked on her own saliva. He really couldn't say that he was wrong with this method. But, was she being flirted with again? Lu Tingxiao enjoyed the girl's embarrassed expression for a while before he asked, have you thought about which company to join after you terminate the contract? Ning Xi rubbed her chin. Well, I'm still thinking about it. Lu Tingxiao pretended to be casual. Once you clear your name, your popularity will be comparable to that of an A-list celebrity. It'll be easy for you to find your next company. Ning Xi sighed. It's actually quite troublesome. Small companies have less competition but their prospects aren't promising. It'll be hard for me to join a big company without a strong background. Although I seem to have a lot of exposure now, it's all accumulated through scandals. I don't even have a completed work. My position is quite awkward. Teacher Lu, do you have any suggestions? Ning Xi had already subconsciously asked for Lu Tingxiao's opinion on such an important decision. Lu Tingxiao poured her a glass of water and replied, from my perspective as a businessman, you have a lot of potential. I'm optimistic about the value you can create in the future. That's why I hope that you can join Golden Era. Ning Xi's eyes widened and it took her a long time to come to her senses. Are you poaching me personally, boss? Lu Tingxiao chuckled. You're right. I do want to poach you. Are you coming? Oh my god. That tone was too much of a violation. Ning Xi gulped, calmed herself down, and said with a serious expression, to be honest, if I can leave Starlight, the company I want to join the most is Golden Era. Golden Era has already surpassed Starlight to become the best entertainment company in the industry. Their future is undoubtedly the best. Lu Tingxiao nodded with satisfaction, then extended his hand to her. Then, to a pleasant cooperation. Ning Xi subconsciously stretched out her hand. It's a pleasure working with you. What's going on? Just like that, we're cooperating happily? She had reached an agreement with Golden Era just like that? How could the great Demon King be so efficient at poaching people? Well, are we going to work together? Ning Xi was still confused. I have high hopes for you and you also like Shenxi. What's wrong with that? Lu Tingxiao asked. What's wrong with that phrase? Ning Xi felt that she couldn't set Lu Tingxiao up, so she asked seriously, don't you need to think about it? I think I'm quite a troublemaker. What if I cause you trouble? If you can handle everything, why do I need the agency? That's the meaning of my existence. Oh, Ning Xi touched her nose. Anyway, she found that although the devil was a man of few words, every word he said was a gem. She couldn't win against him in an argument. Ning Xi thought about it carefully. Now that Xing Hui had wronged her again and again, it was only human nature for her to propose to terminate the contract at this time. She wouldn't be criticized. Moreover, now that she had settled the liquidated damages, it was certain that she would clear her name, so she shouldn't cause any trouble for Lu Tingxiao. Thinking of this, she was finally relieved. Boss, in order to repay your kindness, I will work hard to make money for you in the future. I won't let you down. Ning Xi immediately expressed her sincerity to her boss. At least she was very confident in her ability. Lu Tingxiao smiled. Well, I'm looking forward to it. At this time, Ning Xi's cell phone suddenly rang. The caller ID showed that it was Dirty Demon King. Zhang Wei had many missed calls before, but she was too busy and suddenly fell ill, so she didn't have time to call him back. Ning Xi didn't avoid Lu Tingxiao and answered, "Hello, Zhang." Before she could speak, a loud roar came from the other end of the phone. "Ning Xioxi, where the hell have you been? Don't you know you've been slandered like shit?" He went to the Lu mansion to look for her once, but was told by the housekeeper that she was not there. Neither was Lu Tingxiao. That day happened to be her birthday. How could he not think about it? Ning Xi was speechless. "What are you talking about? I'm in the hospital." Hearing this, Zhang Wei was stunned, and his voice became nervous. "What? You're in the hospital? What happened to you? Were you beaten?" Ning Xi's mouth twitched. "You were beaten. It's just a fever. Which hospital are you in? I'll come and see you right away." "There's no need. You're so busy. You should take care of things at home first. My fever has subsided. Lu Tingxiao is here, and Xiaobao will be here soon." After a few seconds of silence, Zhang Wei said in a gloomy voice, "Ning Xi, have you seen the email I sent you?" "Not yet. How could I have the time? Since the night before yesterday, I've been under pressure and haven't had a moment to rest. Anyway, it's a long story. I'll tell you when I'm free." Zhang Wei took a deep breath. "Remember to watch it as soon as possible. Also, let me ask you, what are you going to do about Ning Xueluo? I was going to help you find that bastard Zhang Qiang, but when I found someone to stop him, he was already gone. You're from Starlight, so I can't use my studio's PR. So, I discussed it with Brother Ming and helped you contact a reliable PR team." Ning Xi said gratefully, "Thank you, Zhang Wei, but you don't have to thank me. I've got the evidence to clear my name." Zhang Wei gnashed his teeth. "Lu Tingxiao again. I got it by myself, okay, but Lu Tingxiao did help me a lot later." "I see. As long as you are fine. I'm hanging up. Don't forget to read my email." Considering that she was still ill, Zhang Wei suppressed his anger. He was not in the mood to ask Lu Tingxiao how he saved the damsel in distress, so he hung up the phone stiffly. Damn it! If Lu Tingxiao hadn't used despicable means to hold him back, he would have been the one to accompany her and help her through this difficult time. Shameless, too shameless. "Did Zhang Wei call you?" Lu Tingxiao asked casually. "Yes, he asked me if I needed help. He even said that he sent me an email. I don't know what it is, but he kept reminding me to read it. He's so mysterious. It's probably some kind of birthday present. He did the same thing last year. He sent me a very scary prank video. I was so angry that I had to beat him up 3 times." Ning Xi complained. She didn't rush to read the email, but continued to look through the text messages and missed calls to see if there was anyone else she needed to reply to. Most of the missed calls were from strange numbers. They must be from the media. When she scrolled to the end, she saw a name. It was from her birthday. Seeing that name, Ning Xi's indifferent look became warm and soft. "I thought he forgot my birthday. Who?" Lu Tingxiao subconsciously became nervous. "My brother, Tang Niu." Lu Tingxiao nodded and quietly breathed a sigh of relief. He thought it was her ex-boyfriend again. He was on the verge of panicking at the slightest sound. Ning Xi immediately called back, "Hello, Xianyo. Sister, you finally called back. How are you now? Are you all right? Did those people make things difficult for you? I saw the news in the newspaper." "Don't worry, I'm fine. But I saw that woman is going to sue you. Your sister is not weak either. It's hard to say who will sue who in the end. Are you really fine?" "Yes. If you keep worrying about me, I will suspect that you are not 17 but 70. Ning Xi said and paused. "But do you trust me so much? Maybe I was the one who stabbed Ning Xueluo on purpose in order to get promoted?" The young man on the other end of the phone said in a clear voice, "If I don't believe in my own sister, am I supposed to believe in unrelated people?" Hearing this, Ning Xi felt a warm current spread in her heart. "Brat, you're good at talking. I'm relieved to know that you're fine. By the way, I haven't said happy birthday to you yet. It's all in the past now. It's fine. It's the same even if I say it now. Thank you, my dear handsome and caring younger brother. Don't be so mushy. I can't talk to you anymore. School is about to start, and I have to rush for my summer homework. Go, go. Do your best, young man." After the phone call, Ning Xi's mood suddenly brightened. Seeing that she was in a good mood, Lu Tingxiao's mood brightened up as well. "Do you two have a good relationship?" "Yeah. Although we are not related by blood, we have always had a good relationship. Didn't my grandmother value boys more than girls when she was young? At that time, Xiaonyo was the only one who could eat anything delicious at home. I couldn't even eat on the table, but Xiaonyo would always hide some for me. And every time my grandmother couldn't stand me and looked for trouble, he would come out to protect me. He's such a good boy, Ning Xi said with some melancholy. Isn't it magical? Those who are related by blood are like enemies, but those who are unrelated are like family. I should have known that in that circle, benefits will always be above family. Lu Tingxiao gently patted the cute little hairpin on the girl's gloomy head. You will get better. Every time he heard her talk about her childhood, he couldn't help but love her a little more. He wanted to make up for everything she had lost. After reading the call history, Ning Xi continued to read the text messages. She was stunned when she saw one of them. Honey, I really underestimated your courage. Sender, YS. What did this guy mean by sending such a message to her all of a sudden? What had she done? Lu Tingxiao had deleted the call history, so Ning Xi naturally did not know that the two men had spoken to each other that night. What's wrong? Lu Tingxiao asked, noticing that something was wrong with her. Nothing. Ning Xi just thought that the man was crazy again. She put down the phone and asked, when will Xiaobao come? He should be here soon. Ning Xi touched her hair subconsciously. Where's the hair clip Xiaobao gave me? Here it is. I put it away for you. Lu Tingxiao opened the drawer of the bedside table and handed her the pink hair clip. Ning Xi immediately put it on happily. Looking at the hair clip on Ning Xi's head, Lu Tingxiao felt a trace of regret. He should not have given her a gun. If he had given her a necklace, bracelet, or earrings, she could have worn it close to her body. In fact, he had already prepared a gift, a ring, but it was not the right time to give it to her. As they were talking, there was a knock on the door. Ning Xi got out of bed and opened the door. It was Xiaobao. Baby, you're here. After Xiaobao came in, he didn't do anything but anxiously pulled on her clothes with his little hands, as if he wanted her to lower herself a little. What's the matter? Ning Xi squatted down. Xiaobao immediately knocked his little head on her forehead with a serious face. Ning Xi couldn't help laughing. Pfft, baby, are you taking my temperature? Don't worry, I just measured it with a thermometer. My fever is gone. Xiaobao was still worried. He looked at the bruise on the back of her hand left by the foredrip with distress. Ning Xi held the little guy in her arms and patted him comfortingly. Don't frown. Auntie's pain is gone as soon as I see you. It was a magical cure. She really wanted to steal it home. Do you want to go for a walk? Lu Tingxiao suggested. Okay. It just so happened that she wanted to move around after sleeping for a day. It was not good to let Xiaobao accompany her in the ward. When the three of them went to take the elevator, they passed by a ward. It was noisy outside the ward, and there were layers of reporters with long and short cameras. All of them were competing to interview the woman in the ward. Shui Luo, have you contacted Ning Xi? Not yet. I haven't heard from her. Ning Xi absconded to escape punishment. Do you have anything to say about this? What are you going to do next? I don't know. I still can't believe that she would do such a thing. I heard that Ning's International Group and Starlight Entertainment have withdrawn their investments in protest, right? Has the production crew responded yet? Will they replace Ning Xi? I'm not sure about that. You can ask the person in charge of the crew. If Ning Xi appears and apologizes to you, will you forgive her? If she is truly remorseful, I can forgive her for being muddle-headed for a moment, but the bad influence she has caused on the entertainment industry is not something that can be resolved by an apology, nor is it up to me to forgive her. Ning Xi couldn't help but raise her eyebrows when she saw Ning Xueluo's White Lotus drama. She didn't realize until now that she was staying in the same hospital as Ning Xueluo and they were in the same ward. Just then, one of the reporters suddenly noticed Ning Xi's direction at the opposite elevator and exclaimed, Ning Xi. Ning Xi? Where is she? Ning Xi is here? No way. How dare she show up? Over there. For a moment, all the reporters looked over and picked up their cameras, ready to take photos and grab the news. Ning Xi frowned. Her first reaction was to protect the little bun and not let others scare him. She didn't care about herself. However, before she could hug the little bun, her head was suddenly pressed into a warm embrace by a wide palm, and then her other hand was held tightly by the little bun's soft little hand, as if comforting her not to be afraid. As for the reporters, they all stopped when they were 10 steps away from them. Out of nowhere, 2 tall men dressed in black and wearing sunglasses appeared. Their expressions were ferocious, and they blocked their way like door guards. Hey, who are you? Get out of the way. Good dogs don't block the way. A reporter was so eager to grab the headlines that he blurted out without thinking. But there were also clever people in the crowd who grabbed the person who spoke. Their faces were full of fear, as if they had seen something extremely terrible. You're crazy? They are the bodyguards of Lu Enterprises? Lu Corporation. You can't be talking about that Lu Corporation, right? Nonsense. There are several Lu Enterprises in the capital, but how do you know? There are no words engraved on their faces. Are you an idiot? Didn't you see the family emblem on their clothes? With this reminder, everyone took 3 steps back in unison, and the few who had been rude earlier apologized with faces full of fear. Big brothers, I'm sorry. We have eyes but failed to recognize you. Please don't take it to heart. Oh my god, these 2 are the private guards of Lu Enterprises? Then who are the 3 people behind them? The reporters craned their heads to see what was going on, but as soon as they cautiously looked over, they all retreated with pale faces. The man who was holding the girl in his arms was tall and had a frosty face like a god, but his eyes were too sharp and his aura was too oppressive. The reporters with a little bit of experience were good at reading people's expressions. They immediately realized that the man in front of them was not someone to be trifled with. At the same time, they calmed down and realized that something was wrong. What, Ning Xi? You must be mistaken. They are a family of 3. How could that woman be Ning Xi? Yes? Have you gone crazy thinking about the headlines? Everyone looks like Ning Xi. This person doesn't look like someone to be trifled with. Are you trying to get us killed? The reporters began to complain about the person who spoke first. Maybe I saw wrongly, but they really do look a little alike. Didn't you guys also make a mistake at the beginning? Like my ass? That Ning Xi is a venomous woman with a venomous heart, but this miss looks like a good wife and a loving mother. Her temperament is noble and refined. She doesn't look like a human at all. Exactly? Such a soft and cute girl? How could it be Ning Xi, that bitch? At this time, the elevator arrived with a ding sound. Even after the 3 of them disappeared into the elevator, the reporters were still sighing. Aya, did you guys notice the little boy just now? He's so beautiful. Furthermore, he looks exactly like that man. One look and I can tell that he's his biological son. Who exactly is that man to the Lu family? What a terrifying aura. I feel like that man looks familiar. Why do I feel like he looks like the god of fortune? Don't say it. He does look like him. That little boy. Could he be the legendary little crown prince? This conjecture was like a stone that caused 1,000 ripples. Impossible. Lu Tingxiao is single. He has a son but he doesn't have a girlfriend. If it's really him, then it's going to be big news. So what if it's big news? Do you dare to expose it? Have you forgotten how Vio magazine fell? Of course I remember. It was because they took a photo of Lu Tingxiao and had the audacity to publish it. Speaking up to this point, everyone gave up on that thought. Those who were quick enough to take photos all started to delete the photos with trembling hands. Lu Tingxiao was famous for keeping a low profile in the entertainment circle. He did not accept any interviews from magazines or media outlets. His little prince was even more protected. No matter how curious they were about what happened today and the identity of the woman, no media outlet dared to touch the line of death. In the lift, Ning Xi lifted her head from Lu Tingxiao's arms. She looked at the big bun and then the little bun. So this is how it feels to be protected. Are you alright? I'll get you to another hospital. Lu Tingxiao's face was still gloomy. He had just found out about the unpleasant coincidence when he came to the hospital in a hurry. Don't bother. I'm fine now. Why don't we go home? I hate staying in the hospital. Okay. Where did those 2 bodyguards come from? Ning Xi asked curiously. They are nearby. You are in a special situation now. Let them follow you just in case. He would not allow another incident like last time where she was attacked by fans. I haven't even signed a contract with Shenqi and I'm already getting such benefits. Ning Xi was flattered. Suddenly, she saw herself in the mirror above the lift door. Ning Xi touched her face in the mirror. Oh, are those reporters blind? They didn't recognize me when I was standing right in front of them? They even said that I'm a good wife and mother, that I'm fresh and refined, that I'm a soft girl, that I'm cute. I'm the stepmother from Snow White or the wolf grandmother from Little Red Riding Hood. That's more suitable for me, right? As she spoke, she looked at herself in the mirror. Then, she realized that she had not put on any makeup and was wearing a loose hospital gown. Her hair was braided into a loose braid at the back of her head, and she wore the pink hair clip that Xiaobao had given her. The expression on her face was gentle and demure. What the hell? She's quite a soft girl? Ning Xi was shocked by herself. Was she always like this in front of Big Bun and Little Bun? It wasn't like her at all. At this time, after listening to Ning Xi's words, Xiaobao's eye suddenly took out a pocket-sized notebook that she brought with her. She immersed herself in writing for a while and then eagerly handed it to her. Baby, what do you want to say? Ning Xi took the little book. After reading it, she blushed. What's wrong? Seeing Ning Xi's strange expression, Lu Tingxiao asked. Ning Xi covered her burning cheeks, her eyes full of accusation. Lu Tingxiao, it's all your fault. Look at your son. What happened? Lu Tingxiao felt quite wronged, so he went to see what Xiaobao had written. After reading it, he fell silent. In the little book, he carefully wrote, 1 stroke at a time. You are the brightest star in the sky. Your eyes are warmer and sweeter than chocolate. When I look at you, it's like I'm looking at a fairy tale princess with eternal beauty. After hearing Ning Xi's self-deprecating words, Xiao Bao decided to use his ultimate move. Ning Xi was touched and worried at the same time. Lu Tingxiao, Xiao Bao must have inherited this from you. He's so good at making girls happy. What will happen when he grows up? I can't imagine how much I'd be attracted to him if he could talk. Especially the last sentence, it was like a stab to her heart. He actually said she was a princess. She had always wanted to be a queen, because that was the only way she could face all difficulties fearlessly. Facing Xiao Bao's princess, her hidden girlish heart was hooked. Which girl didn't want to be a carefree princess? She just had no other choice. Lu Tingxiao looked at his son and sighed. This was not just an inheritance, but the student had surpassed the master. Seeing Xiao Bao standing there looking up at her with a serious face, Ning Xi chuckled helplessly and leaned over to hug him. Okay, I know I'm the most beautiful in your eyes. I won't belittle myself anymore, okay? Only then was Xiao Bao satisfied. Imitating what she usually did to reward him, he gently kissed her on the cheek. Ning Xi couldn't help hugging him and rubbing him. Hey, what should I do? I want to steal you away when your father isn't paying attention. Xiao Bao blinked and looked very expectant. He nodded in agreement as if saying, hurry up and steal it. Ning Xi, pfft. Lu Tingxiao. Why did he feel like he was the third wheel? At the same time, in Ning Xueluo's ward, the reporters couldn't catch up with Ning Xi, so they went back to interview Ning Xueluo. Now everyone was frantically looking for Ning Xi, but she seemed to have disappeared. There was no news at all. The reporters stopped at her apartment, the crew, and the company, but they couldn't find her. If they knew that Ning Xi stayed in the ward on the same floor as Ning Xueluo, and that she had just passed by them, they would probably go crazy. Suyan was worried about Ning Xueluo's health, so he asked a few more questions and interrupted everyone. I'm sorry, everyone. Xueluo hasn't recovered from her injuries and is very weak. Today's interview will end here. Yeah, I'm not feeling well. I'm sorry, everyone. Although the reporters were unwilling, they could only express their understanding. They told her to rest well and then cooperated and left. Cheng Li politely sent them out. Thank you for everyone's concern for our Xueluo. I believe that justice exists in the hearts of people and that everyone has their own values. It's not easy for everyone to run back and forth on such a hot day. This is a little reward for everyone's hard work. After that, Kui Kaijing, the assistant next to her, began to give out red envelopes to everyone. The reporters were well aware of this, so they all agreed to help Ning Xueluo seek justice. On the bed, Ning Xueluo seemed to have thought of something. She had a suspicious look on her face. Brother Yan, what's with those reporters? Why did they all suddenly run out? Is it really Ning Xi? No, they mistook me for someone else. Su Yan tucked her in, looking a little dazed. Most of those reporters had never seen Ning Xi in person, but he was different. The figure he had caught a glimpse of really looked like Ning Xi. He was almost sure that it was Ning Xi in person. But how was that possible? How could Ning Xi be so intimate with a man, with a child by her side? Late at night, at the Lu mansion, Ning Xi had been watching entertainment news online for a while and was about to go to bed when several messages popped up on her SN. They were from Suyan. Suyan, Zioxi, where are you now? I saw someone in Xueluo's hospital today. Was it you? Suyan, you really went too far this time. You can't take advantage of our guilt to exhaust our patience with you. Suyan, running away won't solve anything. You owe Xueluo an apology. Ning Xi sneered and then typed back to him, I bought a watch last year. At this time, there was a knock on the door. Come in. Lu Tingxiao pushed the door open and walked in with a glass of warm milk in his hand. He frowned when he saw that she was still on the computer. Why are you still online? You need to rest. I was about to go to bed, but I felt disgusted before going to bed. Ning Xi complained. Lu Tingxiao walked over and handed her the milk. What's wrong? Ning Xi took the milk and thanked him. Then, without any hesitation, she showed him the chat history. Lu Tingxiao glanced at it and his face darkened. Then, he revealed a suspicious expression. I bought a watch last year. What does this mean? Pfft. Ning Xi almost spat out the milk when she heard Lu Tingxiao read it out so seriously. She explained awkwardly, ahem, that's internet language. It's a classic and straightforward curse. Really? What is it? Lu Tingxiao asked humbly. Ning Xi had no choice but to teach him seriously. The abbreviation of the watch I bought last year is WQNLGB. Well, do you understand? Lu Tingxiao nodded. He understood immediately. Ning Xi breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the devil had a high IQ. Otherwise, she would have been too embarrassed to say something like go to hell. After Suyan saw Ning Xi's reply, he immediately sent a lot of messages over excitedly, asking her to repent and be saved. Out of sight and out of mind, Ning Xi logged out and turned off the computer. Lu Tingxiao was in a good mood when he saw Ning Xi's response. I've already contacted Ning Xueluo for you. Really? What did you say? Ning Xi immediately asked. Lu Tingxiao took out his phone and opened an email for her to read. Ning Xi hurriedly leaned over to take a look. After reading it, she was speechless. In the email that Lu Tingxiao sent to the other party, other than the evidence and an account number, there were only a few words, not even punctuation marks. 8 million in 24 hours. This was indeed Lu Tingxiao's style. Not bad, not bad. The simpler it is, the easier it is to make them panic. It's pretty good. Ning Xi nodded her head and praised. When the money is in your account, you can go and talk to Starlight about terminating the contract, lest they deliberately make things difficult for you. When the time comes, I will arrange for a lawyer to accompany you. I've asked Jingli to prepare the contract for you. I'll show it to you tomorrow morning. If there's anything that needs to be changed, we'll discuss it then. After signing the contract, Golden Era will hold a press conference for you to release the evidence. After that, we'll start the legal process. Lu Tingxiao's low and hoarse voice was like a cello as he calmly stated the next step of the plan and arrangements. Ning Xi was stunned. She nodded and then asked subconsciously, is there anything else I need to do? Eat, sleep, and take care of your body. Oh. At the First People's Hospital of the capital, Ning Xueluo was lying comfortably on the hospital bed, holding a glass of red wine in one hand and scrolling through Weibo with the other. She had never felt so happy before when she saw the people cursing Ning Xi online. Kui Kaijing massaged her calf and said in a flattering tone, Sister Xueluo, your legs are so beautiful, long, and straight. Actually, they were just a little better looking than the average person. She spent millions on plastic surgery every year, how could she not look better than the average person? Ning Xueluo liked this kind of compliment very much and said proudly, it's natural. Cheng Li, who was standing next to her, felt a little uneasy. She said worriedly, Swaluo, do you think Ning Xi is trying to set us up? She hasn't shown up for so long, has she? Ning Swaluo sneered disdainfully, you overestimate her. Even if she is slept with 100 times, she won't be able to turn the situation around. That's true. In the entertainment industry, an artist with such a serious bad record will face the same consequences as Jia Qingqing. It's useless no matter who helps her clear her name. Cheng Li calmed down a little. By the way, I've just sent an email to Ning Xi, giving her an ultimatum. Tell her to come to the company before 6 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, or I'll shut her out. I don't believe she won't show up tomorrow. Remember to arrange for more reporters to wait for her. Ning Xi laughed happily. She was replying to the fans' comments about her injury when a new email notification popped up on the top of her phone. Who would send her an email at this time? And it was sent to her personal email address. Ning Swaluo didn't pay much attention to it. She opened it casually and was stunned on the spot. The red wine in her hand spilled all over her body. Oh, Sister Swaluo, what's wrong? Kui Kaijing hurriedly took a tissue and wiped it for her. What's wrong, Swaluo? Cheng Li asked suspiciously when she saw Ning Swaluo's frightened expression. See for yourself. Ning Swaluo threw the phone at Kui Kaijing's head with trembling hands. What the hell are you doing? How could you leave such a big loophole? Why did you send that email in my apartment? Also, didn't I tell you to use an anonymous account to transfer money? It took Kui Kaijing a while to regain her senses. She held her forehead as she read the email on her phone. She was stunned and said in a panic, Sister Shueluo, you can't blame me. I did use an anonymous account. As for the email, you were there when I sent it, and you didn't say anything at that time. Ning Swaluo smashed her wine glass. Can't you figure it out yourself if I don't tell you? If you want me to say everything, what use do I have for you? After Cheng Li finished reading the email, her face was solemn. The thing I was most worried about still happened? I'm just afraid that someone might find out. Who sent this email? Zhang Qiang? Ning Swaluo's face darkened. Impossible? Zhang Qiang is just a hooligan with a primary school education. He doesn't even know what IP addresses and anonymous accounts are. That's really strange. Anyway, besides us, only Zhang Qiang knows about this. The news must have been leaked by Zhang Qiang? Could it be that he conspired with someone? But Zhang Qiang has long disappeared. There's no one to ask. Cheng Li said anxiously. Ning Swaluo walked back and forth in the ward. What's the point of talking so much nonsense? The key now is how to solve this problem? Cheng Li calmed herself down and comforted her. Calm down, Swaluo. The email asked us to transfer 8 million to that account within 24 hours. It's obvious that they're after money. Just give them the money? As long as it can be solved with money, it's not a problem. Ning Swaluo said irritably, 8 million. We only have 1 day. Where am I going to get that much cash? Although she made a lot of money, she spent even more. She usually spent money to please the Ning family and the people in the circle. If we gather the money, we might be able to get it. Cheng Li muttered. She thought that the other party really knew how to ask for a price that was exactly what they could afford. At this time, Ning Swaluo suddenly thought of something. Since they can check our information, why can't we? Cheng Li shook her head. Is it that easy to check an anonymous account? We have to hack into the bank system. Even if we hire someone, it's not easy to find a hacker of this level in a short time. Besides, so what if we find out who it is? They have something on us. We have to give them the money no matter what? Damn it. Ning Swaluo glared at Kui Kaijing who was hiding in the corner. You can't do anything right. If it weren't for the fact that she had something on Ning Swaluo, she would have kicked her out a long time ago. Kui Kaijing wanted to refute, but she didn't dare to say anything. She was really innocent. Ning Swaluo tried her best to recover from the shock and forced herself to calm down. Sister Chang, help me raise the money now, quick. Also, hire a few more groups of people to make sure that Ning Xi will never have a chance to make a comeback within a week. Swaluo, since we have Zhang Qiang's confession, do you think we should put her in jail once and for all? Cheng Li suggested tentatively. No, although the Ning family doesn't like her, they won't let her go to jail. Remember, don't let her terminate the contract. It's best if she stays in the company for the rest of her life to pay off her debts. Otherwise, if she runs back to the Ning family, I won't be able to control her. Also, in case anything happens tomorrow, I'll arrange a good lawyer for you. Ning Swaluo racked her brains to remind them one by one. Only after making sure that she did not miss anything did she feel at ease. Originally, everything was going smoothly. She didn't expect such a big problem to happen. Fortunately, Cheng Li was right. Anything that could be cancelled with money was not a problem. She would never allow anything to go wrong in the following matters. The next day, Ning Xi successfully got 8 million yuan. At 6 o'clock in the afternoon, she went to Starlight Entertainment accompanied by the lawyer Lu Tingxiao arranged for her. At this moment, it was the time for the employees to get off work. Everyone was stunned when they saw Ning Xi. Then they ran around crazily to spread the news, sending all kinds of messages and photos to the group, and Weibo Ning Xi, who disappeared from the world, finally appeared. Oh my god, Ning Xi? It really was her? She actually dared to appear. Yeah, how daring? If it were me, I would have run away. Why would I come back? That's right. After this incident, she definitely won't be able to stay in the entertainment circle anymore. She might even be sentenced to jail. It's better to just run away. Did you see the man beside her? One look and you could tell he was an elite? Who are they? It doesn't look like a lover. Could it be an assistant? How is that possible? She's already in such dire straits. How could she afford an assistant? Can't she sleep with a sugar daddy? Hihi, I'd like to see what kind of sugar daddy has the ability to settle such a big problem for her. In the reception room, seeing Ning Xi, Cheng Li showed a smug expression as she had expected. Our superstar Ning Xi is finally willing to show up? I've been waiting for a long time. She looked strangely at the cold-faced man beside Ning Xi and asked, who is this man? Don't you know that we can't bring outsiders into the company? Ning Xi squinted at her and said, I'm a lawyer. Oh, you even have a lawyer. Cheng Li only thought that she was invited here to boost her prestige. She snorted disdainfully, you're still putting on airs and acting arrogantly in front of me at this time. Do you know how big a mess you've made this time? If I hadn't pleaded for you with the company time and time again, you would have been blacklisted. Ning Xi raised her eyebrows slightly and chuckled. Ha, you pleaded for me? Then what's the result of your pleading, Sister Cheng? Cheng Li threw her a speech script. Next, the company will hold a press conference. As long as you publicly apologize at the press conference and quit the cast of Under the Heavens, Lady Xueluo will not sue you and give you a chance to turn over a new leaf. But I'm afraid no crew will dare to hire an artist with a bad character like you, even if I try my best to protect you. Cheng Li gave her another date after hitting her with the stick. She said earnestly, but don't be discouraged. If you sincerely repent, the company won't leave you alone. You should know that some directors don't care about scandals. I've just accepted another film for you. As long as you work hard, there's still a chance for you to make a comeback? Ning Xi looked at her with a faint smile and said faintly, a big production. I wonder which big production Sister Cheng has accepted for me. Seeing that Ning Xi had taken the bait, Cheng Li looked at her mockingly and said, are you afraid that I'll cheat you? You must have heard of Smiling in the Spring Breeze, right? Ning Xi's fingers tapped on the armrest. Zhang Penghai's new film. Yes, it's director Zhang. You know, all the films made by director Zhang are popular. When he was filming in Harbor City, who knows where Guokishan was? Hearing Cheng Li praising Zhang Penghai so seriously, Ning Xi almost laughed out loud. Then her eyes suddenly turned cold. Sister Cheng, if you want me to sell myself, just say so. There's no need to beat around the bush. Zhang Penghai started his career as an actor, but even after he cleared his name, he didn't get much better. What people criticized the most was Zhang Penghai's personality. This guy was extremely lecherous. He had slept with almost all the actresses in his crew. Last year, he was almost sued for having sex with a minor. It must have been hard on them. They had gone through so much trouble to choose such a blockbuster and such a director for her. Cheng Li frowned upon hearing that. What do you mean by asking you to sell yourself? Wasn't it just a little bigger? What, you're not happy? Someone like you, if it wasn't for my recommendation, they might not even be willing to accept you? Think about how much damage you've caused to the company this time. If you can't take on the role, are you going to let us raise idlers? Sorry, I don't want to take this role. Ning Xi didn't want to listen to her shameless words anymore and directly refused. Cheng Li flew into a rage and pounded the table hard. Ning Xi, you've repeatedly disobeyed my orders. Do you still regard me as your agent? Let me tell you, you have to take on Director Jiang's role even if you don't want to. Agent. Ning Xi sneered. You won't be one soon. Haha, you still want to change agents? That depends on whether anyone dares to hire you. Cheng Li was fearless. I want to change companies. You want to terminate the contract. Cheng Li's face finally changed, but she soon calmed down. Ning Xi, don't threaten me. Do you know how much the penalty fee is? You have 4 years left on the contract, 2 million a year, 8 million in total. Ning Xi gave the lawyer a look. The lawyer took out a black box expressionlessly and opened it. It was full of money, cash. Ning Xi pushed the box to Cheng Li. Here's 8 million. Do you want to count it? You. Cheng Li looked at the cash, dumbfounded. Where did you get so much money? Ning Xi looked impatient. This seems to have nothing to do with you, right? Oh, I got it from sleeping with you? Don't be so arrogant. Do you think 8 million is enough? Cheng Li threw her a thick stack of termination agreements. It seemed that she had prepared for this. Ning Xi took the agreement and glanced at it. The more she looked at it, the funnier she was. Sister Cheng, why didn't I know I was so valuable? 60 million? Why didn't this woman rob a bank? She knew it wouldn't be so easy to terminate the contract. These people would definitely try to make things difficult for her. Cheng Li became calm again. This is what our professional lawyer evaluated. It's stated clearly in the agreement. In addition to the 8 million penalty fee, there's also the loss of the company this time. Because of you, our project was put on hold, our investment was interrupted, and our most profitable actor was seriously injured. All in all, this is the lowest. If you can't pay the money, we'll meet in court. Ning Xi frowned. She didn't know how professional this lawyer was and whether he could handle it. Lawyer Chen just schemed through it. His expression was still cold and emotionless. Seeing Ning Xi's hesitation, Cheng Li immediately softened her tone. Ning Xi, think about it carefully. Do you really want to terminate the contract? In fact, we can discuss this matter. If you don't want to take on Smiling in the Spring Breeze, we can arrange something else for you. I have a few scripts at hand, all of which are big projects. You can choose from them. Ning Xi sneered in her heart. Big projects? It must be the same old stuff. Ning Xi didn't want her to leave Xinghui because she wanted her to be shackled by her for the rest of her life. She was even afraid that she would give in and return to the Ning family. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. It was Xinghui's lawyer. And there were 3 of them at the same time. Ning Xi knew one of them. He was Cai Yingyang, the senior lawyer and consultant of Ning's group. F***ck, Ning Xi was determined to kill her? Ning Xi looked at the lonely lawyer Chen on her side and felt even more uncertain. Cheng Li crossed her arms over her chest and said arrogantly, Ning Xi, it's not too late to change your mind. Ning Xi really didn't know much about this, so she could only look at lawyer Chen. Lawyer Chen remained completely silent. Ning Xi was anxious. Wasn't it a necessary skill for a lawyer to be eloquent? Why did he not only have facial paralysis, but he was also like a mute? Could it work or not? However, what happened next made Ning Xi feel like she was watching a fantasy drama. Lawyer Chen stood up slowly and took out a stack of documents from his briefcase. Then, he finally said, First, as far as I know, your company withdrew its investment to threaten the crew. It has nothing to do with my client. Second, Ning's international group has nothing to do with my client. Any losses of theirs should not be counted on my client. Third, your employee was injured in the crew. Your company, the crew, and the insurance company should jointly bear the responsibility. My client should not bear any responsibility before she is convicted in court. Moreover, according to your company's judgment, Miss Ning Xi's injury is only a minor skin injury. We should pay 252 yuan and 40 cents at most. Other expenses such as the VIP ward and maintenance should not be borne by my client. Lawyer Chen was 1 against 3. He spoke as fast as a machine gun, and he didn't even pant for half an hour. He spoke until the 3 lawyers were speechless and sweated profusely. He successfully helped her terminate the contract. Other than the 8 million, he didn't have to spend a single cent more. Oh, no, he spent 252 yuan and 40 cents more. In the end, the other party was willing to settle in private. They didn't even dare to mention the word go to court. Ning Xi was dumbfounded. So Lawyer Chen was on cooldown just now. Was he saving energy to use his ultimate move? Cheng Li was even more dumbfounded. The other 3 lawyers were also dumbfounded. When Ning Xi and Lawyer Chen were about to get up and leave, Cai Yingyang, the lawyer of the Ning family, suddenly stood up in excitement. He looked at Lawyer Chen in surprise and asked, Wait. Pardon me for asking. May I ask you, are you Lawyer Chen Jing? The other 2 lawyers were shocked when they heard this. What? Chen Jing? Which Chen Jing? Could it be Chen Dazhuang? They didn't take the taciturn lawyer seriously at all, so they didn't ask his identity. But the more they thought about it, the more they felt something was wrong. Although they hadn't seen Chen Jing in person, they had heard of his style. Usually, he was a man of few words. People who didn't know him would think he was mute. But once he started to work, he was like crazy. He spoke fast and his words were clear. His fighting power was off the charts. Lawyer Chen ignored Cai Yingyang and walked out of the conference room without stopping. Behind him, Cheng Li fell into the chair with a pale face. It was over. Ning Xi had told her not to let Ning Xi terminate the contract, but now everything was ruined. The lawyer Ning Xi hired was the top lawyer in the capital, Chen Dazhuang. Why did Chen Dazhuang come to negotiate a contract termination for Ning Xi? The lawyer charged by the minute. It was a sky-high price to hire him? Could it be that Ning Xi's sugar daddy was Lawyer Chen? Ning Xi was still in a daze when she walked out of the Starlight building. She never thought that this boring and expressionless lawyer could be so tough. Were all the lawyers in the legal department of Shenxi Entertainment so powerful? While she was immersed in her thoughts, a large group of reporters suddenly rushed in. Ning Xi, are you here to turn yourself in? What do you have to say about the deliberate murder of Ning Xi? Ning Xi has always been generous and said that she would give you a chance to turn over a new leaf as long as you apologize. Are you ashamed? May I ask if the incident with Jia Qingqing was also planned by you? I heard that Starlight Entertainment wants to terminate your contract and ban you. Is that true? Those reporters crazily crowded around Ning Xi, but Ning Xi couldn't fight against so many people. In this situation, it was not good for her to fight with the reporters. She was trying to get away when suddenly 5 well-trained bodyguards in black rushed out of nowhere. In less than 10 seconds, they controlled the scene and protected Ning Xi in the middle. The reporters looked at each other. What was going on? Where did these people come from? How could Ning Xi, a powerless actress in distress, have a bodyguard? And there were 5 of them at once? Because they didn't want to bring Ning Xi scandals and trouble, the bodyguards this time didn't wear the Lu family emblem, but it was enough to scare the reporters who bullied the weak and feared the strong. Ning Xi stopped behind the bodyguards and said to all the reporters calmly, First, I am not guilty. I don't need to turn myself in, and I have no reason to be ashamed. Second, the incident with Jia Qingqing has been clear for a long time. Please don't confuse the public, or it will be slander. Third, I did terminate the contract with Starlight Entertainment just now, but it was I who proposed it. Fourth, you want to ban me? Try it. After saying this, Ning Xi ignored the uproar behind her and directly got into the black car that stopped over. Fortunately, Lu Tingxiao had made meticulous arrangements. He had probably anticipated that they would be besieged by reporters today. Even his bodyguard and driver had arrived at the right time. Miss Xi, where to next? Asked the driver. Let's go home. Ning Xi paused and couldn't help asking, why do you all call me Miss Xi instead of Miss Ning? Come to think of it, whether it was the servants of the Lu mansion or Lu Tingxiao's men, they all seemed to call her Miss Xi, Miss Xioxi. It's Boss Lu's orders, the driver replied. I see. This man was too meticulous. Was it because he knew that she didn't like the surname Ning? At the same time, in the Lu residence, Lu Jingli slumped on the sofa like a dead fish. Brother, you've been picking them all day. There are so many excellent agents in our company, but none of them caught your eye. How is Lei Ming? He has been in the industry for a long time and is experienced. He has connections in the domestic and foreign circles and is familiar with Ning Xi. Lu Tingxiao, he is Zhang Mui's agent. Lu Jingli, okay. What about Hao Shui? This has nothing to do with Zhang Mui, right? Lu Tingxiao, I don't want men. Lu Jingli's mouth twitched, then Yeshenglan. Top agent? His business ability is solid? Lu Tingxiao, this person's sexual orientation is unclear. There are rumors that she likes women. Oh my god, you know too much. Lu Jingli looked like he was about to collapse. Then Zhao Meizhen should be fine, right? Female, has a boyfriend, Su Yumo's manager, our company's #1 performance last year? Lu Tingxiao, his character is terrible. Lu Jingli was completely speechless. Even the emperor's concubine selection isn't as troublesome as you? Then what kind do you want? Lu Tingxiao pondered for a moment, then asked, why didn't you give me Lin Hizi's information? Lin Hizi is on vacation. She said that she won't be taking any newcomers for a while. I guess she's trying to avoid Zhang Mui. Tisk, tisk. Let's go with her. Lu Tingxiao made the decision. Brother, you are too cunning. Lu Jingli couldn't help but mourn for Zhang Mui in his heart. Then, he began to mourn for himself. You really know how to make things difficult for me? Lin Hizi has already said that she won't be taking any newcomers. While they were discussing, Ning Xi came back. I'm back? Is there anyone at home? As soon as he finished speaking, one of his calves was hugged by a soft little bun. Moreover, the little bun's face had an aggrieved expression of 3 hours apart feels like 3 years. Ning Xi hugged and coaxed the increasingly clingy little bun for a long time before she finally smiled. You're back. Did the contract termination go smoothly? Lu Tingxiao got up and walked over. At the mention of this, Ning Xi's face was full of excitement. It went very smoothly. The lawyer that the company arranged for me is very good. He fought 1 against 3 and won a battle of words. Originally, Chengli wanted to extort 60 million from me, but in the end, I didn't spend a single cent more. No, I only spent an extra 250 yuan on Ning Xi medical fees. It was simply too cool. Are all the lawyers in Golden Era's legal department this good? I heard them call him Chen Dazhuang. At this moment, Lu Jingli, who was standing behind him, said, what lawyer from Shenxi's legal department? Chen Jing is the senior legal consultant of Lu Group. Pfft. Ning Xi almost choked on her saliva. She looked at Lu Tingxiao incredulously. Lu Tingxiao, you asked your lawyer, who can easily win hundreds of millions of economic cases, to help me handle a small case of 8 million yuan. It was as if the emperor had sent the nation's master to help her, a commoner, with a lawsuit over a stolen pig. Just in case. Lu Tingxiao answered calmly. As long as it was her business, it was not a trivial matter. Ning Xi didn't want to say anything else. The devil's actions were always so extraordinary. Have you finished reading the contract I gave you this morning? Lu Tingxiao asked. Ning Xi scratched her head. It's so thick, I'm getting a headache. Anyway, I schemed through it and signed it. I'll give it to you later. Lu Tingxiao raised his eyebrows. You trust me that much? Ning Xi spread her hands. I'll sell it to you and count the money for you. Lu Tingxiao's smile was doting. Lu Jingli. Oh my dog eyes. I'm going blind? He couldn't stay in this house anymore. If everything goes well, you can report to the company the day after tomorrow. You can rest at home tomorrow. Lu Tingxiao said. Oh, okay. Ning Xi nodded. Lu Jingli wanted to smash his head. The day after tomorrow? Didn't that mean he only had 1 day to convince Lin Hizi? That was so inhumane. Lu Tingxiao seemed to have seen through Lu Jingli's complaint. He looked at him and said, you can go on vacation after this is done. Okay, I'll go right now. Lu Jingli was full of energy. That night, in the ward of the First People's Hospital of the imperial capital, Ning Xi was staring at the woman on the TV screen. Outside the Starlight building, Ning Xi, who had disappeared for many days, did not look weak and haggard. Instead, she looked radiant. Surrounded by 5 bodyguards in black, she faced the reporter's attacks with a stern expression. First, I'm not guilty, I don't need to turn myself in, and I have no reason to be ashamed. Second, Jia Qinking's matter. Fourth, you want to ban me? Try me. Hearing the last sentence, Ning Xi suddenly smashed the table lamp beside her. The screen sizzled and emitted a burst of smoke. Then, it went black. Chengli, what's wrong with you? Kui Kaijing is fine, but you also made such a stupid mistake. What did I tell you? You can't let her terminate the contract? Chengli was already used to Ning Xi's scolding when something went wrong. But at this moment, her face still darkened. I told you a long time ago that with Ning Xi's qualifications, if she finds a rich and powerful man, even I can't control her. Now that you've forced her to this point, this result is actually within your expectations. Don't tell me you want me to watch her make a comeback? I paid such a heavy price. And I spent 8 million for nothing. Ning Xi was hysterical. She could not accept the repeated accidents. Shui Luo, it's not as bad as you think. Ning Xi's reputation in this circle has been completely ruined. Even if she finds a sugar daddy, she can't change the situation. Besides, who dares to hire an artist who is banned by Starlight? She had reached the end of her career. Not only that, but think about it, she made such a big deal out of this. She casually threw out $8 million and had bodyguards and luxury cars to pick her up. Who wouldn't know that she was a kept woman? Would the Ning family still treat her well in the future? Would she still be able to enter the upper class? Hearing this, Ning Xi anger finally eased a little. Have you told the internet water army? Don't worry. I told them as soon as it happened. Besides, even if we don't do anything, those reporters will definitely write about it. Chengli said firmly. Ning Xi glanced at the latest headlines on her mobile phone, only to see Ning Xi speaks arrogantly. Ning Xi is suspected to be a sugar daddy. Ning Xi refuses to admit her crime, and Ning Xi refuses to repent. She finally calmed down. Okay, calm down the public. Nothing can go wrong. As soon as she finished speaking, there was a knock on the door. Ning Xi immediately winked at Chengli nervously. Chengli hurriedly cleaned up the broken lamp and covered the TV with a dust cloth. Then she went to open the door. Outside the door, Suyan was surprised to see Chengli in Ning Xi ward at this time. Are you talking about something? I just had some work matters to discuss with Sister Chang, and we're done talking. Brother Yan, why are you here so late? Ning Xi changed the topic. Then you talk. I'm leaving. Chengli said goodbye and exchanged a look with Ning Xi before leaving. Suyan didn't notice the interaction between the two. He pinched his eyebrows and looked a little gloomy. Ning Xi looked at him and asked tentatively, is it because of Ning Xi? Suyan didn't speak. Ning Xi bit her lip and her body trembled slightly. Brother Yan, are you blaming me? Are you blaming me for pushing Ning Xi to this point? Suyan sighed. You just like to let your imagination run wild. This was her fault to begin with. Why would I blame you? I just blame myself. I didn't handle it well and let her end up like this. I didn't expect that she would rather sell her body than apologize to me. Why does she hate me so much? What should I do to appease her? Do I really have to leave you? Ning Xi looked pained. Suyan's face immediately changed and he said seriously, Xi, don't say that. We finally got together. Are you going to give up because of this? Ning Xi hurriedly snuggled into his arms and looked frightened. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I'm just afraid that you will regret being with me. Suyan was stunned and then said firmly, I never regret it. As they were talking, there was another knock on the door. Suyan opened the door and was surprised to see Ning Yehua and Zhuang Lingyu. Uncle, Auntie, Dad, Mom. Why are you guys here? Ning Xi was surprised and quickly got off the bed to welcome them. Zhuang Lingyu pressed down on her shoulder. Don't move. You're injured. Lie down properly. We're just here to see you. Ning Yehua's face turned black. Shui Luo, don't worry. I came here to tell you that I will definitely seek justice for you. Even if I have to tie her up, I will tie her up to apologize to you. Tears welled up in Ning Xi Luo's eyes. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I don't really care. I just hope that my sister can mend her ways. She's going to ruin her life. Zhuang Lingyu's expression was abnormally ugly. I didn't expect her to do such a shameless thing. What kind of sin has our Ning family committed? If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have brought her back in the first place. Shui Luo is enough for us, but the old man wouldn't listen. Now look at it. Ning Yehua looked irritated. All right, stop yelling. I'll take care of this. Also, don't let the old man know about this. Now was the crucial time for him to compete with his second brother for the right of inheritance. Lu's house. Ning Xi coaxed Beizai to sleep and put on a facial mask. She was about to have a good sleep when her phone screen flashed. It was Ning Yehua. Ning Xi narrowed her eyes and walked to the balcony to answer the call. Hello. What? Don't you know how to call your father? Where's your upbringing? Are you sure you want to argue with me again? I wish you didn't exist in the Ning family, but you have the blood of the Ning family in you. You can't erase it. The dirty things you've done outside, in the end, it's our Ning family that's losing face. Oh, the dirty things I did. Was it Ning Shui Luo who said it? Of course it was Shui Luo who said it. It's all over the internet. They say you have a vicious heart and don't repent. You are a mistress. You are proud of it and show it off in front of everyone. Don't say I wronged you. I had people wait outside your apartment for several days but you didn't come back. Tell me where you lived these days. Where did the money come from? I warn you, Ning Xi, I'll give you one last chance. Come back and apologize to Shui Luo immediately. And I've arranged a job for you. It's in the branch office in Singapore. I've booked the plane ticket. Pack up and leave the day after tomorrow. Oh, he exiled her 5 years ago and now he wants to exile her again. Ning Xi said word by word, Chairman Ning, I do have the blood of the Ning family in me, but you didn't teach me anything except a sperm. Even if I lose my face to the Pacific Ocean, it's not your turn to criticize me, let alone meddle in my life. Ning Xi, how dare you? Think about the consequences of pissing me off. You. Ning Xi hung up the phone and cut off the roar from the other end. This time, she was very calm. There was no anger, disappointment, or sadness. Ning Xi. Someone called her softly. Ning Xi turned her head and saw Lu Tingxiao looking at her worriedly on the balcony next door. Ning Xi was surprised. Lu Tingxiao, you're still awake. Lu Tingxiao walked to the edge of the balcony near her. I heard some noise on the balcony, so I came out to take a look. Are you okay? Ning Xi shrugged as usual. It's fine. Ning Yehua always says the same thing on the phone. I've already memorized it. Lu Tingxiao wasn't good at comforting people. Across the balcony, he reached out and rubbed her head. Don't be sad. Ning Xi smiled. Under the starlight, her eyes were calm. I'm not sad. In this world, those who can hurt us are those we have given our feelings to. The more we care about them, the more hurt we will be. But now, I won't get hurt again. Because she didn't care anymore. That time in the hospital was the last time she felt sorry for those people. She would never do it again. Alright, I'm going to bed. He still had to wake up early tomorrow. Good night. Ning Xi waved at him. Get up early? There's nothing much to do tomorrow, so you can sleep a little longer. I have to get up early to buy groceries. What for? Lu Tingxiao was confused. Of course it's cooking. I promised to cook for you and Xiaobao last time, but it has been delayed until now. You've just gotten better. There's no hurry. It's just buying groceries and cooking. It's not tiring, and I happen to be free tomorrow, so it's a deal? Oh yes, remember to eat less tomorrow morning and leave more room for your stomachs. I'll definitely make you wish you had another stomach. Looking at the girl's smug look, Lu Tingxiao chuckled. Okay. Early the next morning, Ning Xi wore a light pink dress with white low-heeled sandals. She had on light makeup, and her naturally curly hair was straightened and spread over her shoulders. She still had that pink heart-shaped hair clip on her temples. In short, she looked like a very good wife and mother. Lu Tingxiao, who was sitting on the sofa and reading the newspaper, was startled when he saw her. Ning Xi usually dressed simply and casually if she didn't need to go to any special occasions. This was the first time he had seen her dressed so ladylike. Ning Xi jumped up to him excitedly. How is it? Do I look like a married woman? Lu Tingxiao looked at her, and the light in his eyes was profound. They are very similar. A married woman. What an incomparably beautiful phrase. Haha, that's good. Then I won't be ripped off when I go to the market? Ning Xi nodded in satisfaction. I'll go then. She was about to take a step, but her legs couldn't move. Little Bun hugged her again. Ning Xi looked at her leg pendant, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Baby, why are you up so early too? Little Bun rubbed his sleepy eyes and stretched out his arms, indicating that he wanted a hug. Ning Xi had to pick him up. I'm just going to buy groceries. I'll be back soon. Little Bun was still hugging her neck. Can I go with you? Just then, Lu Tingxiao asked. Ning Xi blinked. Hey, you're going to. I can take Little Bun out for a walk, Lu Tingxiao said. Little Steamed Bun also vigorously nodded his head. Ning Xi scratched her head. Of course you can. It's just a place like the market. It might be a bit dirty and messy. I'm not going to a supermarket, but a big market a bit far away. The ingredients there are the freshest. It's okay. Let's go. Lu Tingxiao put down the newspaper and picked up the car key. So Ning Xi's one-person trip became a three-person trip with Little Bun and Big Bun. In the underground garage. Looking at the row of dazzling luxury cars, Ning Xi swallowed saliva, especially when she saw her idol, Little Bai. Seeing Ning Xi staring at the white Bugatti sports car, Lu Tingxiao asked, shall we drive this one? Ning Xi came back to her senses and quickly shook her head, of course not. We're just going to the market. Why are we driving a supercar? How about a low-key one? She took a quick glance, but there really wasn't any. How could there be? Lu Tingxiao nodded. Yes. After saying that, he pressed some kind of switch and a black car was transported out from another compartment. It was a family car with a price of around 500,000 yuan, and it seemed to be brand new. Ning Xi nodded. This is great. But why did Lu Tingxiao have such a strange car? Lu Tingxiao seemed to see through her doubts and explained, this was prepared for you when you first arrived, but you have never driven it. Ah, so this was the car that Lu Tingxiao had prepared for her. Looking at Lu Tingxiao's lonely expression, Ning Xi felt as if she had made a big mistake. She quickly explained, that's because it's more convenient for me to take the subway, and there's no traffic. Then she hurriedly changed the topic. Let's go. If we stay any longer, the good stuff will be picked up by others. At that time, it will affect my performance. On the way, Ning Xi opened the car window. The morning breeze was cool and comfortable on her face. It also blew away the depression that had accumulated over the past few days. Lu Tingxiao turned on the radio, and soft music drifted out of the car. Confession balloon / the wind blows across the street / smiles fly in the sky. You say you're hard to pursue / want me to back off. I don't need the most expensive gift / just the fallen leaves of the fragrant pavilion. Oh / make a romantic date / not afraid to mess everything up. Owning you is owning the whole world. Darling / falling in love with you / from that day on / sweet is easy. Darling / don't be capricious / your eyes are saying, I'm willing. The melody of this song was very sweet, as bright and lively as summer, but Ning Xi felt that something was wrong when she listened to it. They were just out to buy groceries, so why did it sound like a date? And these lyrics? She didn't know why, but she felt inexplicably guilty listening to them. Half an hour later, under such a delicate atmosphere, they finally arrived at the food market. Do I need to buy you a mask? Lu Tingxiao asked worriedly. In order not to be disturbed, he didn't let the bodyguards follow them this time. No need. The working people here don't have time to care about gossip. Besides, I'm so ladylike today, so no one will recognize me. I think you and Xiaobao need masks more than me. Ning Xi teased. Although it was still early, there were already a lot of people in the market. The crowd was bustling with activity. Ning Xi was worried that Xiaobao wouldn't get used to it, so she picked him up. It was Xiaobao's first time in a place like this. He looked around, his head moving from her left shoulder to her right, looking very attentively. However, Xiaobao had put on some weight recently, so he was a little heavy. Ning Xi found it difficult to carry him for a while. Lu Tingxiao took Xiaobao from her in time. Let me carry him. Xiaobao was already in Lu Tingxiao's hands, but his hands were still clutching Ning Xi's neck. Lu Tingxiao looked serious. Do you know that you're heavy? Xiaobao looked as if he had suffered a huge blow, like a girl being called fat. Although Ning Xi found it funny, she quickly comforted him. Don't listen to your dad's nonsense. You're not heavy at all, and you can be a little fatter. It's just that it's safer for dad to carry you, and he's taller, so he has a better view. Xiaobao was barely appeased, but he was no longer in the mood to enjoy the scenery. He stared at Ning Xi the whole way, as if he was afraid that she would be pushed away by the crowd. Whenever he saw her go a little further, he would reach out to grab her. Wow, the fish over there looks so fresh. Ning Xi crawled to a stall like a loach. Lu Tingxiao glanced at the girl, and then freed his other hand to hold hers. Ning Xi was stunned for a moment. She subconsciously looked at her hand that was being held, and her palm felt hot. Xiaobao froze. Ning Xi looked at Xiaobao's hand. Ning Xi glanced at little treasure and found that the little fellow looked anxious. Xiaobao's face Xiaobao's anxious. Ning Xi hurriedly said, yes, yes, yes. I've taken a look around. Auntie, your fish is really juicy. Madam, you have good taste. You can go and ask around. They all know that our fish are the best in the entire market. The auntie said proudly. After listening for a long time, Ning Xi realized that something was wrong. Why did the aunt call her madam? Clearly, he had misunderstood that they were a family of 3. Forget it, it would be troublesome to explain, so Ning Xi didn't bother explaining. Auntie, give me one. Okay. The auntie was very sincere in her way of weighing the fish and even gave her a lot of weight. After selling the fish, the auntie looked admiringly at the man holding the child in his arms. Madam, you are so lucky. Both your husband and son are so handsome. Even in a place like the wet market, Lu Tingxiao still looked outstanding with a baby in his arms. It was really a talent. Haha, really? But I am also very handsome? Ning Xi joked. Yes, 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 your whole family is handsome, especially your little baby, he is so adorable. He has completely inherited the good qualities of you and your husband. Here, I will give you a small one. Ning Xi touched her face subconsciously. Inherited the good qualities of her and Lu Tingxiao? It seemed that this was not the first time she had heard of this. Next, Ning Xi and Lu Tingxiao, who was carrying Xiaobao, became the focus of the whole wet market. No matter what they bought, the stall owners would give them something. There were onions, garlic, eggs, fish, prawns, everything. Ning Xi's basket was almost full. Ning Xi looked as if she had found a new way to get rich. She exclaimed excitedly, I didn't expect Xiaobao to have such benefits. I will bring Xiaobao next time? Xiaobao nodded. Lu Tingxiao said, okay. In the end, the 3 of them returned with a full load. Ning Xi was in a good mood along the way. She suddenly thought of something and shouted, Lu Tingxiao, do you know my apartment? Turn left at the intersection ahead. Yes, do you want to go back? Lu Tingxiao drove the car to her apartment with ease, even though he had only been here once. Yes, yes, I will go get my super secret spice. Wait for me? Okay. Ning Xi trotted into the apartment and quickly came down with the spice. When she passed the lobby, the receptionist called her anxiously. Hey, wait, it's Ning Xi, right? You have 2 packages that have been there for several days. Do you still want them? She then looked at her with a gossipy look, thinking that Ning Xi hadn't come back for a long time. She was probably already a sugar daddy. Ning Xi pretended not to notice her gaze and directly took the 2 boxes, one big and one small, and left. When he walked to the door, he saw Xiaobao, who was in the opposite car, leaning on the window, anxiously waiting. Ning Xi's gaze was warm. The next second, she saw 3 men in black who looked like they had come with ill intentions. They ran straight towards her. Ning Xi's reflexive vigilance made her eyes light up. She immediately put down the things in her hands, tore the hem of her skirt, and kicked one of them when he rushed over. Caught off guard, the man was sent flying by the kick. The 2 men next to him were stunned for a long time before they regained their senses. Then, they attacked her with even more ferocious expressions. Ning Xi was dressed like a lady today, causing her movements to be restricted. She couldn't immediately deal with these 2 people. As she was fighting with the 2 of them, another person rushed over from behind, grabbed her arm, and tried to tie her up with a rope. Ning Xi was about to fight back when the man's hand suddenly left her arm and let out a heart-wrenching howl. She could almost hear the sound of the man's hand breaking. Ning Xi looked at the man's arm and saw Lu Tingxiao, who had gotten out of the car and rushed over. His face was cold and murderous, and his hand was firmly grasping the man's wrist. Lu Tingxiao did not know how he twisted his hand. Then, the man was thrown out and spun in a circle. He fell to the ground like a broken sack and lay there motionless. It was probably because Lu Tingxiao's attack was too brutal that the other 3 looked at each other in dismay and subconsciously retreated. Are you okay? Lu Tingxiao turned to Ning Xi and his eyes were still filled with hostility. Ning Xi nodded. I'm fine. She had never seen Lu Tingxiao fight. Most of the time, she thought Lu Tingxiao was gentle and elegant. She didn't expect him to be so amazing. Just then, a black Ferrari stopped slowly and a man got out of the car. It was Ning Xi in a custom-made Joran suit. Ning Xi looked at the man beside Ning Xi as if he was looking at a piece of trash, and then glanced contemptuously at the car parked downstairs. Ning Xi, is this the man you've been fooling around with these days? He drives a car that costs hundreds of thousands of yuan? Ning Xi was so angry that she almost laughed. For you, the standard to judge a man is how much he drives. So, according to what he said, it wasn't that he cared about her being a sugar daddy, but whether the sugar daddy was powerful enough. If she was a sugar daddy who drove a Bentley, would it be more noble? Not by the car, but by the face? And here I thought you had found some kind of god. You actually found a half-baked gigolo? You're getting worse and worse? Ning Yehua cursed. Although this man was good-looking, if he drove such a car, he was at most a small boss of a small company. Ning Xi. She actually called Lu Tingxiao a gigolo. After cursing Ning Xi, Ning Yehua looked at Lu Tingxiao arrogantly. Who are you? Do you know who she is? You even dare to play with my daughter. Believe it or not, I'll make sure you can't survive in the capital. Ning Xi. Lu Tingxiao was a man of few words in front of outsiders. Now he looked down on Ning Yehua and didn't even look him in the eye. Ning Yehua wanted to continue to humiliate him, but for some reason, he felt a chill in his heart and suddenly couldn't say a word. How could a small local boss have such an imposing manner? His good-for-nothing daughter must have been deceived by his pretentious appearance. Ning Xi, what I said last night still stands. It's not too late for you to go back with me now, Ning Yehua said in a tone of charity. Ning Xi smiled and held Lu Tingxiao's arm intimately. I'm sorry, but I choose my gigolo. You'd better go back to where you came from. Ning Xi, you'll regret this. Watching the two of them leave hand in hand, Ning Yehua flew into a rage. Then, with a gloomy face, he ordered the bodyguards next to him, follow them. There were too many things that surprised him today. One was Ning Xi's skills. In his impression, his daughter was so weak that she couldn't even truss a chicken. Other than that, there was the identity of this man. He felt that something was wrong. Back in the car, Ning Xi immediately scratched her head and apologized to Lu Tingxiao. I'm sorry, I caused you to be scolded for no reason. It's okay. Although he was scolded, Lu Tingxiao wasn't angry at all. As for the reason, it was naturally because of Ning Xi's last hug. Even the word gigolo became a sweet nickname because she added the attributive my home in front of it. Are you scared, baby? Ning Xi looked at Xiaobao worriedly. Xiaobao shook his head and clung to her arm. His expression didn't seem to be one of shock, but rather a bit gloomy. Why was he only 5 years old? He wanted to grow up quickly. That way, he could protect her instead of looking at her from afar. Lu Tingxiao saw through his son's thoughts. This was his job and he didn't need to worry about it anymore. Only a few people know my address. Who sent this to me? Ning Xi mumbled as she picked up one of the boxes to check the sender. The words on it were too blurry to read. Lu Tingxiao was about to ask if she needed a knife when Ning Xi tore the package open with her bare hands. This was probably a skill that every girl needed. After opening the outer layer of the package, there was an exquisitely wrapped square gift box with a bottle of beautiful perfume and a simple note, Happy Birthday. Lu Tingxiao saw Ning Xi's happy expression in the rearview mirror. Friend. Ning Xi carefully put the perfume back and said, It's my cousin. Didn't I tell you that my second uncle has a son and 3 daughters? That son isn't his son and 2 daughters are illegitimate. My second aunt only gave birth to one, which is my cousin, Ning Tianxin. Lu Tingxiao relaxed. So it was his cousin. Yes, she was very good. Ning Xi looked nostalgic. When I was in the Ning family, Sister Xian was the only one who was good to me. Although she was cold, she was actually warm on the inside. Unfortunately, I didn't get close to her at first because she looked too cold. She reminded me several times to pay attention to Ning Xuluo, but I didn't take it to heart. Sister Xian's personality is quite similar to yours. Although she looks cold, she's actually very nice. Lu Tingxiao. He was praised. But he didn't know if he should be happy. Was this the legendary good guy card? Ning Xi continued to open the second package. This package was either blurry or didn't have a sender. Huh? Anonymous delivery. I've been slandered so badly recently. Should I not casually open an anonymous delivery at this time? Ning Xi said as she shook it. There was no sound at all. She couldn't hear anything. I'll open it for you. Lu Tingxiao reached out his hand. Ning Xi was about to say, how can you help me when you're driving? However, she saw that Lu Tingxiao's hand had already left the steering wheel, but the car was still driving steadily. It even made a turn at the intersection ahead. Ning Xi was stunned. What's with this car? Lu Tingxiao replied calmly, the system made some changes. Ning Xi, although it's not uncommon to see a driverless car, you actually modified it yourself? Only then did she realize that although the appearance of the car was a rather common mid-range brand, the interior and structure were not quite the same. Could it be that Lu Tingxiao had just borrowed a shell and changed the interior? Don't tell me the seat I'm sitting on is made of real leather? This metal armrest has such a good luster. Could it be some kind of high-tech material? The piece jade pendant hanging in front of him was so sparkling and translucent. Could it be a top-grade ice type? He didn't dare to continue thinking about it. Ning Xi finally came back to her senses and nervously reminded Lu Tingxiao, be careful. What if the delivery is really Just as he finished speaking, there was a loud bang. There was a mushroom cloud of glitter everywhere. Lu Tingxiao's head, clothes, and face were all covered in glitter. If one looked closely, they would realize that there were many glittering things scattered in the explosion. They looked like diamonds. This was a familiar way of giving gifts. He didn't have to ask to know who it was. But this time, it was more of a prank. People used money to smash people, but he used diamonds to smash people? Although they weren't big, there were so many of them. If they were made into rings, it would be enough for hundreds or thousands of young men to propose to. Not only Lu Tingxiao, but also Ning Xi and Xiao Bao, who were sitting in the back seat, were affected a little, and their bodies were sparkling. Ning Xi, Lu Tingxiao, Xiaobao. Ning Xi wiped her face and then Xiaobao's face. Then she quickly leaned over to help Lu Tingxiao remove the messy things on him. I'm sorry. Are you okay? Did you get any in your eyes? Lu Tingxiao brushed his hair and shook off a layer of broken diamonds and a small piece of paper. It said, "Happy birthday, darling. Are you satisfied with what you see?" "Yes. You." Lu Tingxiao looked at her with a complicated expression. "Do you like this way?" He began to reflect on himself. Compared to others who were simple and direct, wasn't his way of expressing himself too tactfully? Ning Xi was speechless. "Do I look like I like it?" If it was just one, it could still be considered a pleasant surprise. But if it was a rain of flowers, it would be horrifying. "All right. Lu Tingxiao, although you're rich, you can't chase girls like this. If you want to chase someone, I can teach you later." "I'll teach you?" Lu Tingxiao smiled. Of course, that was what he wanted. Okay. Out of the corner of his eye, he caught a glimpse of a car following them from the rearview mirror. It seemed to be Ning Yahua's car. Ning Xi saw that Lu Tingxiao's expression wasn't right. She followed his gaze and saw that car. F***ck? This guy isn't done yet. Do we need to shake them off? Lu Tingxiao asked. Ning Xi thought about it and then shook her head. Forget it. Ignore him. They can't get in anyway. Xiaobao is still in the car. It's too dangerous to drive fast. Okay. 10 minutes later, at the Imperial Level Platinum Palace, Lu Tingxiao's black sedan, which did not match the luxury cars coming in and out of the city, slowly drove to the entrance. When the car was still a few meters away, the guard respectfully saluted, then attentively opened the door and watched the car until it was out of sight. Then, Ning Yahua, who was following closely behind, was immediately stopped. "Hello, please show me your pass," the guard said with a businesslike expression. Ning Yahua anxiously watched the black car disappear into the corner and said impatiently, "What pass? If you don't have a pass, you can ask the residents inside to give me a call," the guard said. Ning Yahua frowned. "Then why did that car go in so easily?" "He is one of our residents," the guard replied. "What?" Ning Yahua's expression changed instantly. Was there a mistake somewhere? It was an Imperial level Platinum Gold rank. The gathering place of the Imperial capital's top tycoons? There was a price but no supply? How could the pretty boy with the broken car be a resident here? Could it be that he was some family's butler or special assistant, or someone's illegitimate child? After a series of twists and turns, the three of them finally got home smoothly. They carried the bags to the kitchen. The first thing they did was not to cook but to take a shower. The three of them were covered with glitter powder and small diamonds to varying degrees. Tens of thousands of yuan might fall off when they walked, so Ning Xi had to pay attention to her steps while walking. After taking a shower, Ning Xi deliberately changed into clothes that were more convenient for her to move around, looking like she was going to do something big. "Do you need help?" Lu Tingxiao and Xiaobao also went downstairs. Ning Xi held Xiaobao in her arms and rubbed him. "Ask Wan Wan to come and help me. You two go watch TV and wait for dinner. Don't get yourself dirty again. Wan Wan is not here. They are all on vacation today," Lu Tingxiao said. On vacation. Ning Xi thought about it and thought it was good to let Xiaobao participate in it, so she said, "Then come here. Do you have aprons? I forgot to buy one when I went out just now." "I think so." Lu Tingxiao dug out a plastic package from the pile of vegetables he had just bought. After opening it, there were exactly 3 aprons in the same style and color, 2 big ones and 1 small one. "Huh? When did you buy it?" Ning Xi asked in surprise. "The crab girl gave it to me." "Ugh, okay. There are really all kinds of gifts?" Ning Xi took the small apron and said to Xiaobao, "Xiaobao, come here. I'll help you put it on." Xiaobao opened his short hands cooperatively and expectantly. Ning Xi helped him put it on, tied the belt, and exclaimed, "Baby is so cute even in an apron." As soon as she said that, she turned around and saw Lu Tingxiao. Lu Tingxiao in casual clothes and a pink apron, was still dazzlingly handsome. Moreover, there was an unexpected contrast between the two. No, I can't resist the urge to take photos again." Ning Xi ran to take the phone and began to take photos. From time to time, she stuffed tomatoes or pork ribs into Xiaobao's hands as props. Cute Xiaobao was accompanied by a cold big bun. It should have been a very strange picture, but when they were in the same frame, it was very loving. "Do you want me to take photos for you?" Lu Tingxiao suddenly asked. I don't think I need it. I'll help you in Xiaobao," Lu Tingxiao said as he helped her put on the apron. Xiaobao couldn't wait to pounce on Ning Xi. In fact, Ning Xi didn't want to leave too many traces and memories, but she couldn't resist Xiaobao's expectant eyes. "Forget it, what's the point of thinking so much? Today there is wine, today we get drunk, tomorrow we worry. After Ning Xi and Little Bun were in the same frame, their style became much more consistent. She led Little Bun in doing many cute and funny poses and actions. For example, she asked Little Bun to hold a lotus root in her hand and make a posture of launching a shock wave. Ning Xi cooperated and made a posture of being hid away. In the end, they had so much fun that they almost forgot to cook. Damn, Lu Tingxiao, you're really good at everything? Even the photos looked so good. The composition and lighting are perfect. Ning Xi looked through the photos on her phone and was amazed. I really want to use it as my phone's desktop, but I can't. After all, Xiaobeo's identity was special. Normally, she was very careful not to reveal any information about Xiaobeo. If she had such a cute son, she would definitely show off every day until everyone blocked her. With the cooperation of the three of them, a feast was soon prepared. Salt and pepper pork trotters, marinated crayfish, spicy crab, roasted lamb leg, fried steak. Most of the dishes were meat dishes. Ning Xi, who needed to maintain her figure, had to try her best. After all, the Little Bun was still a little thin and Lu Tingxiao needed some nourishment. Looking at the table full of delicious dishes, Lu Tingxiao was a little surprised. Now I believe what you said. What? To be a chef? Ning Xi laughed heartily. Do you think I'm exaggerating? Although I'm rusty, I've practiced for many years. You wanted to be a chef from the beginning. Lu Tingxiao was puzzled. Ning Xi's smile dimmed. Don't laugh at me. I don't want to be a chef. I want to be someone's wife. Lu Tingxiao's eyes narrowed slightly, revealing a trace of coldness that was difficult to detect. I want to be someone's wife, such a touching sentence, but that someone was not him. I was too stupid and naive at that time. I thought I could capture a man's heart by capturing his stomach. But they don't know. At this point, Ning Xi suddenly stopped and glanced at Xiaobeo who was focused on the soup pot. Then she moved closer to Lu Tingxiao and continued in a low voice, but they don't know that the position of the hand is 3 inches below the navel. I've cooked for him for so many years, but it's not worth it for Ning Xue to sleep with him. Isn't it sad? The sad thing is, he will regret it. Lu Tingxiao's comforting tone sounded like he was speaking the truth. Ning Xi admitted that she was really comforted and chuckled. Well, since we're so happy today, let's not talk about those disappointing things. After the soup is done, stir-fry some vegetables. Lu Tingxiao looked at the basket. We didn't buy vegetables. You didn't? Ning Xi was dumbfounded. What about the cauliflower? The carrots? We didn't buy them either. So all the vegetables I bought are meat? How am I supposed to eat them? I'll die of boredom. I did get some eggplant, but it's not enough to stir-fry a plate. Currently, there were 8 meat dishes and 2 vegetables, 1 lotus root slices mixed with sugar, 1 tomato slices cold. It's okay, I'll go to Jing Li's to help you. Huh? How could second young master have such a thing? Ning Xi was surprised. Yes, there is a vegetable greenhouse behind his yard. That's great. But let me go? You definitely don't know how to choose? Alright, I'll watch the soup. Get Xiaobeo to bring you there. Otherwise, the guards won't recognize you, Lu Tingxiao instructed. Alright, I'll be right back. With Little Bun's help, Ning Xi smoothly entered the vegetable greenhouse behind Lu Jingli's yard. Not to mention that the vegetables in the shed were growing really well. Each of them was fresh and juicy, and they were much fresher than those in the market. After all, they were freshly picked. Lu Jingli really knew how to eat. Just as he was picking vegetables with Xiaobao in the basket, a sharp alarm suddenly sounded above his head. Ning Xi looked up. What's going on? Immediately after, a loud shout came from behind. Tisk, which thief is it? How dare you steal this young master's vegetables? Xiaobeo. Ning Xi. Lu Jingli was wearing pajamas, with a head of mixed hair that just got out of bed. He was dumbfounded when he saw the big one and the small one. Ning Xi carried the basket, the corner of her mouth twitched. Even a vegetable greenhouse needs an alarm. Second young master, do you have to do this? Did you bury gold in the ground? Lu Jingli glared at her with a pained expression. Bastard? Why not? Put down all the carrots, cauliflower, and cabbages in your hands. I personally planted every single one of these vegetables, watered and fertilized them myself. Every day, I played music, listened to stories, and told them jokes. They're all my precious babies? 100 times more precious than gold? Don't you see they're prettier than your families? Are they ordinary dishes? Are ordinary dishes so beautiful? Ning Xi. She thought he did it for food, but she never expected Lu Jingli to have such a strange hobby as growing vegetables in addition to flirting with girls. Put them down, or I'll really get angry. Ning Xi blinked her eyes. But I've already picked them, or should I give you money? How dare you insult my babies with money? Ning Xi, I'm going to kill you. Lu Jingli rolled up his sleeves and was about to rush over. Ning Xi was speechless and pulled Xiaobeo up. Run. They ran until they were out of breath. Ning Xi shouted at the opposite door from afar, Lu Tingxiao, help. What's going on? As soon as Lu Tingxiao came out of the house, Ning Xi immediately pulled Xiaobeo to hide behind him. Lu Jingli complained, brother, are you going to do something about it? Your 2 brats stole vegetables from my garden. Lu Tingxiao, I told them to. Lu Jingli, sure enough, behind all brats, there's a brat parent. You're too much. I don't care, give me back my babies. Ning Xi poked her head out from behind Lu Tingxiao. But your babies are dead. How dare you? Can't I bury them and recite scriptures for them? Well, I think it's better to eat them. You savage woman? Even if I can't beat you, I'll take you down with me? Before Lu Tingxiao could rush over, a handsome robot suddenly appeared and blocked his way. Xiaobao, who was controlling the robot, stared at him coldly, as if warning him not to bully Xiaoxi. Lu Tingxiao thumped his chest and stamped his feet. Ow, there's no justice in this? Xiaobao, I'm your uncle? Where did your elbow go? Seeing that the three brats and the robot were about to fight, Lu Tingxiao helplessly pinched the space between his eyebrows. Stop messing around. Jingli, come and eat with us. I won't. Before Lu Jingli could finish his words, he suddenly smelled an extremely tempting aroma of food. Brother, didn't you let all the servants have a day off today? Who cooked? I'll do it. Ning Xi immediately raised her hand. Lu Jingli's face was full of contempt. You know how to cook? Is your cooking edible? In the end, when he entered the restaurant and saw a table full of dishes that were comparable to the standard of a chef, Lu Jingli was dumbfounded. Did you really make these? Ning Xi took the vegetables she stole from Lu Jingli and quickly made 3 stir-fried vegetables and served them. After seeing it with his own eyes, Lu Jingli had no choice but to believe it. However, because he had not let go of the grudge of stealing vegetables, he snorted in disdain. What era is this? Do you still believe in such stupid words as grabbing a man's stomach, grabbing a man's heart? 3 inches below the navel is the key, okay? Ning Xi couldn't help laughing. She and Lu Jingli's ideas and views were really in line in some aspects. However, she could call herself stupid, but she couldn't tolerate others calling her stupid. Oh, really? Ning Xi raised her eyebrows meaningfully, then picked up a piece of pork ribs and stuffed it into Lu Jingli's mouth. Oh, what did you put in? Poison. Lu Jingli was about to spit, but his expression changed the next second. F***ck? It's delicious? What is this? It's crispy and soft on the outside. It melts in the mouth. It's so delicious. How can it be so delicious? Do you still think it's useless to grab the stomach? Ning Xi asked calmly with her arms crossed. Lu Jingli nodded vigorously. Yes, yes. If I had a wife who could cook like this, I would definitely come home to eat every day. He had originally sympathized with his brother, but now it seemed that marrying Ning Xi was not necessarily without its benefits. Do you still want to bury your little babies now? Lu Jingli looked serious. No, 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 your pot is the best home for them. From now on, you can pick any vegetables you want from my place. Just take me with you when you eat. Oh, this crayfish is delicious. Oh, this small steak is delicious too. What spices did you put in it? I've tasted all kinds of delicious food, but I've never tasted such a special taste. How can I tell you the secret recipe? Hey, that's enough. Eat slowly. The 3 of us have been busy and haven't had a bite yet. Ahem, I'm sorry, sit down. Hurry up and eat. No, wait. I want to take a picture and post it on WeChat. It's too damn delicious. Little Zixi, I really didn't know you had such a trick up your sleeve. Lu Jingli took a few pictures as he spoke and then posted it on WeChat with the caption, Oh, Minasan, let me tell you, my future sister-in-law's cooking is too delicious. I'm so jealous of my brother. What did you post? Ning Xi curiously leaned over to take a look. Lu Jingli immediately put away his phone. How can you spy on other people's secrets? Nonsense, you've already posted it on WeChat. Humph, I'll see it myself. Ning Xi took out her phone and opened WeChat. She had added Lu Jingli as a friend anyway. In the end, it did not appear. Damn, Lu Jingli, what kind of shameful things did you write? You even said it to be invisible to me? Why do you care what I wrote? It's my freedom, but the dishes in your photos were cooked by me. While Ning Xi and Lu Jingli were quarreling, Lu Tingxiao glanced at his cell phone and saw Lu Jingli's message, my future sister-in-law. No wonder he didn't want Ning Xi to see it. In just a few minutes, there was already a large number of people commenting below. Mo Lingtian, damn. I thought you were just joking last time. You really have a girlfriend? This craftsmanship is not bad. I didn't expect Lu Tingxiao to like a good wife and loving mother. Qin Mufeng, I'm surprised. She knows how to cook? According to my professional judgment, she doesn't look like the type of wife and loving mother. Old Master Lu, not bad. Madam Lu, yeah, this girl is really not bad. There weren't many girls who could cook these days. Is that my good grandson's hand in the lower right-hand corner? I think you've put on a lot of weight. Good. There were other comments, all praising Lu Tingxiao for being so lucky. They asked when he would bring her to meet them and when they could go to their house for a free meal. By the way, Xiao Zixi, your agent has been decided. Lu Jingli quickly changed the topic. Ning Xi's attention was immediately diverted. Really? Who is it? Hihi, I won't tell you. I'll tell you if you promise me a meal. Lu Jingli kept her in suspense. Ning Xi rolled her eyes at him and turned to Lu Tingxiao. Lu Tingxiao, who is it? Lu Jingli kept signaling his brother with his eyes, but Lu Tingxiao didn't even look at him. He replied heartlessly, Lin's Hizzy. Lu Jingli, sang Xin? Wasn't it just your wife who fed me a piece of pork rib? Was there a need to take revenge immediately? Ning Xi was stunned. Lin's Hizzy? The Lin's Hizzy who single-handedly turned the unknown and unattractive Lang Menyun into an international best actress? She's my agent? Boss, don't tell me you opened the back door for me? Lin's Hizzy only takes Lang Menyun, not newcomers, right? Lu Jingli cursed in his heart. Of course she did. Because of his brother's orders, he had to fly to H City overnight to persuade her for an entire night before he could convince her. Because Lang Menyun wants to retire, Lu Tingxiao said with an expression as if the public's selflessness was just a coincidence. He didn't mention that Lin Xi was going to take a break and not take newcomers. Ning Xi looked surprised. The rumors are true. Lang Menyun is really going to retire. Yes, she just decided not long ago. Lu Tingxiao nodded. Ning Xi looked regretful. That's a pity. She's at the peak of her career but she chose to get married and have a child. She's the actress most likely to break senior Song Lin's record and win 12 trophies. Becoming a Grand Slam Best Actress was her ultimate goal. Ning Xi shrugged. But everyone has their own goals. It's not good for others to judge. But did Lin Xi agree to take me? I heard she's very strict. Yes, but you still have to go through her test to determine her position and direction of training, Lu Tingxiao replied. Oh, okay. I'll work hard. Ning Xi felt more at ease when she heard Lu Tingxiao say there was another test. Lu Jingli listened to their conversation and clicked his tongue. His brother must have spent his entire life on Ning Xi. Every time he helped her, he would try his best to make it seem fair and reasonable, not giving her any pressure or feeling that she owed him anything. He was really infatuated. Looking at Ning Xi's increasingly trusting attitude towards his brother, he felt that the day he could call her sister-in-law wasn't far away. That's great. I can eat such delicious food often in the future, he. At night. Probably because he had too much fun today, Xiaobao went to bed very early at night. Ning Xi coaxed him for less than 5 minutes before he closed his eyes and fell asleep. Ning Xi gently kissed the little fellow's forehead and then gently closed the door. Lu Tingxiao was leaning against the railing at the door. He looked up when he heard the door open. Xiaobao is asleep. Yes, I slept soundly. You've worked hard today. It's not hard at all. I'm also very happy. This is the first time Xiaobao has eaten 2 bowls of rice. Lu Tingxiao looked very pleased. Ning Xi said with a smile, it's rare that Xiaobao is so supportive. In the future, as long as I'm not busy, I'll definitely make some delicious food for Xiaobao. Lu Tingxiao frowned and refused, I don't want it. Why? Ning Xi didn't understand. Lu Tingxiao looked at her, and there seemed to be a sense of melancholy lingering between his brows. Now that you've raised his mouth, what will I do when you leave? What am I going to do when you leave? This sentence seemed normal, but it seemed to have more than just a superficial meaning. It was like a heavy hammer striking her heart. After Lu Tingxiao's words last night, Ning Xi didn't sleep well. She had a lot of weird dreams last night, and even dreamed of the night when she was drugged by Zhu Xiangchang. In the dream, she lost control and fell on Lu Tingxiao. The scene was extremely out of control. How could I have such a dream? Ning Xi rubbed her hair hard, turned on the faucet and washed her face with cold water. Cheer up, I have to report to the new company today. Before going out, Big Bun and Little Bun cheered her up together. Lu Tingxiao said, come on. Little Bun raised the writing board and said, fight. The robot next to Little Bun sprayed fireworks and also said, come on. Thank you, thank you. Ning Xi kissed Little Bun and bowed to the big boss, but her eyes were a little evasive when she looked at him. After all, she almost did that to him in the dream last night. Finally, she arrived at Shenxi Entertainment. Standing downstairs of the magnificent building, facing a new beginning, new opportunities, and new challenges, Ning Xi's blood was beating in her chest. When she walked in the building of Shenxi Entertainment, there was only one thought in her mind. Rich, inhuman, character. Needless to say, this resplendent and magnificent style of decoration was definitely Lu Jingli's aesthetic taste. Ning Xi took the elevator directly to the office at the end of the 17th floor according to the address Lu Jingli gave her before. Please come in. A formulaic female voice came from inside. After pushing the door in, Ning Xi felt that her eyes were purified. She was almost blinded by the light outside just now. The main color of this office was black, white, and gray, and the decoration was very simple. She saw a woman wearing black-rimmed glasses and a champagne-colored professional suit sitting in front of the desk. Hello, Sister Lin, I'm Ning Xi. I'm here to report. Hello, Ning Xi. From today on, I'm your agent, Lin Xi. You must have heard that I don't work for newcomers, but Menyun is going to retire, and the company needs someone to replace her. Lin Xi explained briefly, and looked at her with eyes like searchlights, which were oppressive but not annoying. The girl in front of him was completely different from the plain-looking Lang Menyun. The first impression she gave off was that she was beautiful, the kind of beauty that was very recognizable to the point of being arrogant. This kind of appearance was undoubtedly a sharp weapon in the entertainment circle, but at the same time, it was also a double-edged sword. It was easy to be labeled as a vase, and it was easier to be associated with messy love news. After Ning Xi heard Lin Xi's words, she was a little surprised. Her existence was to replace Lang Menyun? Wasn't this request too high? However, the more difficult it was, the more excited she became. What's more, this was her original goal. Although the company is preparing to train you as her successor, let me be frank. The probation period is half a year. If you can't meet my requirements, then you'll be kicked out. You can stay in the company, but I won't take you with me. Understand? Lin Xi said with a cold expression. Ning Xi immediately nodded seriously. Understood. At this time, there was a knock on the door, and a chubby and amiable-looking girl walked in. This is the assistant I arranged for you. Hello, Sister Xi, I'm Hu Tao. You can call me Peach. The little girl introduced herself a little shyly. Hello. Ning Xi had a good first impression of this chubby little assistant. After introducing the assistant, Lin Xi gave her a bunch of keys. This is the apartment that the company has arranged for you. Move in as soon as possible. Ning Xi saw the words engraved on the keys, Pearl River Imperial View. F***CK? They arranged Pearl River Imperial View for a newbie like her? The most expensive villa in City B was the Platinum Palace, and the most expensive apartment was Pearl River Imperial View. Both of them were developed by Lu Group. She remembered that Ning Xi also lived in Pearl River Imperial View. Golden Era was indeed rich. Ning Xi looked a little troubled. Thank you, Sister Lin, but I might not be able to move in for the time being. Lin's Hizzy glanced at her. You have a boyfriend. Ning Xi saw that she had misunderstood that she was living with her boyfriend, so she quickly explained, no, it's not because of him. I need to stay at my friend's place for a while. I'll move in once I'm done. I promise that it won't affect my work. Also, the place I'm living in now is very private. Lin's Hizzy did not ask further. She said seriously, it's good that you know what you're doing. I won't interfere too much with your personal affairs, but there are some things that I have to tell you. The first thing is that you're not allowed to be in a relationship at this stage. I don't need to tell you the reason, right? Lang Menyun, whom she had brought up as a newbie, suddenly had to retire for a man. It was a bit of a blow to her. The feeling of being abandoned by a teammate who had fought alongside her even made her feel disheartened. Sister Lin, you don't have to worry about that. I just want to put on a good show now, Ning Xi said firmly. Lin's Hizzy looked at her calmly and did not say anything. Women would lose their minds when they were in love. It would be useless even if she swore 100 times. Lin's Hizzy then told her about the company's rules and regulations. She then handed her a document and said, Starlight Entertainment will be holding a press conference today to announce that you're being blacklisted. We're ready for the press conference tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. This is the process of the press conference and the questions that the reporters might ask. Go back and take a look. Ning Xi took the document and said, Don't worry, Sister Lin. I'll do my best. Although Lin's Hizzy was always cold and stern, Ning Xi did not feel uncomfortable at all. Instead, she felt very safe. With the company backing her up and taking care of everything, she only needed to focus on putting on a good show. It was much easier than before. Seeing the genuine gratitude and fighting spirit in the girl's eyes, Lin's Hizzy's favorability towards her increased by a few points. Forget it, I'll give it a try. Although Lu Tingxiao is usually a little unreliable, at least he has a good eye for people. Every time he poaches someone, they're always popular. Okay, go ahead. I'll explain the details to you later. If there's anything you don't understand, call me anytime. Alright, Sister Lin, I'll make a move first. Today, Ning Xi came to Shenxi in the black Audi that Lu Tingxiao had prepared for her. She had been exposed too much recently. If she continued to take the subway, it would be very troublesome if she was recognized. On the way back, Ning Xi excitedly tried out the autopilot function. After the car was located and navigated, it began to move automatically. She leaned against the driver's seat and did whatever she wanted. It felt really good. Technology really changed our lives? Starlight Entertainment's press conference should have ended by now. Ning Xi purposely picked up her phone and opened Weibo to check the reactions online. After the press conference, the netizens' anger reached an unprecedented level. Starlight did a great job this time. This kind of slut should be banned. You've done something wrong, yet you're still so arrogant. I'm drunk? It's a pity that Under the Heavens has such a good script. Why are you all scolding Ning Xi? I wish someone would stand up and hit her. I think Ning Xi is too soft-hearted. She should just file the case. Who is the sugar daddy behind Ning Xi's evil deeds? Please find out who it is. Not only that, as long as someone spoke up for Ning Xi, everyone would swarm up to attack that person. Now, no one dared to express a different opinion. Ning Xi was probably desperate. It was obvious that she wanted to end the battle quickly and suppress her once and for all. As Ning Xi scrolled through the comments, she realized that something was wrong. Her Weibo was suddenly being tagged like crazy, and the number of comments was increasing rapidly. What happened this time? The phone screen turned black several times. Finally, Ning Xi clicked it open again with difficulty and figured out what had happened. Just now, Lu Tingxiao posted on Weibo, Koi little prince, welcome to our Shenxi family Ning Xi. Holy shit! Ning Xi couldn't help but widen her eyes, thinking that she was seeing things. Wasn't Lu Tingxiao being too high profile? As soon as this Weibo post came out, the entire Weibo was in an uproar. All the netizens swarmed over. F***CK, what did I just see? That bitch Ning Xi actually joined Shenxi Entertainment. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. My Meng Koi must have been hacked. It must be. That's right. Shenxi Entertainment has a good reputation in the industry. How could they sign a contract with such a despicable B***TCH? If this is true, then Golden Era will be shamed for life. I'm never going to watch any of Golden Age's shows ever again. At first, I had a good impression of Lu Tingxiao, but I never thought that he would be the one helping the evildoer. Too disappointing? Why did they have to sign this kind of person? Just because I'm pretty? Damn it! Did that bitch Ning Xi sleep with my Koi Prince Charming? No one can stop me. I'm going to kill her. Ning Xi held her forehead. She knew it would be like this. Did Lu Tingxiao have to be so impatient? Why didn't they announce it after the press conference? Wasn't he just asking for a scolding? Ning Xi was wondering if she should do something when she saw that the other artists under Shenxi were being cursed as well. But in the next second, she saw something that made her dumbfounded. What did she see? She actually saw Lu Tingxiao's main account reposting Lu Jingli's Weibo post. Lu Tingxiao's main account was like a zombie fan. His posts were all formulaic, such as the group's anniversary celebration, the establishment of a new department, the completion of a major cooperation project, or some unfathomable professional economic theory. However, Lu Tingxiao had a lot of fans. He was a male god, after all. Even if he only updated once every 6 months, and they were all advertisements, there would still be a large number of die-hard fans following him. Now, Lu Tingxiao, who had always paid attention to the major events of the corporation, actually reposted Lu Jingli's Weibo post and added a lot of words, "Welcome Ning Xi to the team." This time, it wasn't as simple as an explosion. Weibo's traffic instantly exploded. The system couldn't bear the load and even crashed for a few minutes before recovering. Miraculously, the public opinion on the internet took a turn for the better. Oh my god, what did I just see? I'm going to the toilet to eat sh*t to calm myself down? First, it could be a hacked account. Now that Lu Tingxiao has shared it, how can it be fake? Golden Age Entertainment has signed Ning Xi? Even Lu Tingxiao was alarmed. I don't understand this world anymore. Since Lu Tingxiao shared it, it means that he knows about it and even agrees with Golden Age's decision. Lu Jingli might have been blinded by lust, but Lu Tingxiao would never do that. Something's not right about this. Yes, something's wrong. Golden Age might be up to something big. Waiting for the tables to turn? I'm not saying anything, I'm waiting for the tables to turn. I'll support my idol. Waiting for the truth to come out. Believe in me? All in all, the public opinion was pulled back after Lu Tingxiao shared it. The netizens began to remain neutral, and some even began to regain their rationality. Ning Xi was in awe of the series of changes that had taken place on Weibo. Sure enough, the Great Demon King's attack was extraordinary. The main reason was that Lu Tingxiao's image was too perfect. Ever since he took over Lu Group, he had never made a wrong decision. During the economic crisis 5 years ago, many companies went bankrupt. Only Lu Group stood strong and went against the tide. Basically, his words were like an oracle, no one doubted him. At the same time, in the living room of the Lu mansion, Lu Jingli was rolling around on the sofa with his phone in his hand. F***ck me? What the hell are these bastards talking about? What do they mean by I might have been blinded by lust, but you wouldn't have? I'm so F***ing innocent? You're the one who was blinded by lust. It's you. It's snow in June. I'm innocent. I'm more innocent than Doi. Ning Xi returned just as he was howling. Second young master, I heard you howling from afar. What did you say? Nothing. Lu Jingli immediately sat up, unable to voice his grievances. Lu Tingxiao, who did not even look at Lu Jingli when he rolled on the sofa, looked up from his book. You're back. Have you seen Lin's hizzy? Ning Xi nodded repeatedly. Yes, Sister Lin is very nice. She's my type. She looks so safe when she's cold and unhappy. Lu Tingxiao. These words didn't seem to be a problem, but why did it make him feel insecure? Ning Xi glared at Lu Jingli. Second young master, you're too impatient. Why did you announce that I've signed with Golden Era? Lu Jingli said with an expression that said, of course it's to add fuel to your popularity. Look at how popular you are now. Everyone is talking about you. Ning Xi chuckled and rolled her eyes at him. If it weren't for Lu Tingxiao, we would have been accused of adultery. Okay. Hearing this, Lu Jingli finally showed some guilt and muttered in a low voice, so be it. The truth will be revealed tomorrow anyway. He had expected the netizens to scold him, but he didn't expect them to be so harsh and think in that direction. His brother's face turned green when he saw those comments. You can post on Weibo about the press conference tomorrow, Lu Tingxiao reminded. Oh, okay, I'll send it now. After Ning Xi posted on Weibo, Lu Jingli reposted it, followed by Lin's hizzy. At this time, the phone screen flashed. Someone called. It was Zhang Wei. Hello, Zhang. Ning Xioxi, you actually signed with Golden Era? Why didn't you discuss it with me? Did you see the email I sent you? Zhang Wei's roar could be heard from the other end of the phone. Ugh, aren't you busy? I didn't want to bother you. Besides, what does this have to do with the email you sent me? Zhang Wei's voice was too loud. Ning Xi smiled awkwardly at Lu Tingxiao and went upstairs to answer the call. Behind her, Lu Jingli rubbed his chin and gave his brother a meaningful look. Brother, it seems like someone is going to give you a hard time. Sigh, poor thing. Why did he have to fall in love with the same woman as you? Luckily, I don't like girls like Zixi. Tisk tisk. A love rival is too scary. Zhang Wei was so angry that he almost choked on his breath. You still haven't read the email. Sorry, I forgot. Is it something important? I thought it was some kind of parody video or something. Zhang Wei took a deep breath and said slowly, right now, open your email and read the email I sent you. Don't hang up on me. Open it now. Okay. I'll read it now. Ning Xi opened her computer and logged into her email. She found the email Zhang Wei had sent her and downloaded the attachment. There was a picture and an audio clip in the attachment. She clicked on the picture. It was a WeChat message. Aya, my grandson is so cute. Aya, my son is so handsome. Tingxiao, who chose the clothes for you and Xiaobao? Is it the girl you like? Yes. I knew you wouldn't choose this style of clothes. Look at how bright and beautiful it is. Unlike you, who only knows how to wear gray clothes all day long. Even Xiaobao is covered in grey clothes. This family really needs a woman. Did she take the photo too? Yes. Not bad. Damn, my future sister-in-law is unbelievable. She actually has the ability to make you wear this kind of clothes and take photos for her? I gave you a set of clothes that looked similar to this one. You looked at me with disdain and even criticized my taste. The people in the conversation were obviously Lu Tingxiao, the two elders of the Lu family, and Lu Jingli. Are you watching it? Zhang Wei urged. Okay. Ning Xi nodded with a complicated expression and turned on the audio. After a series of rustling sounds, Zhang Wei's voice came from inside. Uncle, what do you mean by Ning Xi? Then it was Lu Tingxiao's voice. Yes? Don't you think your attitude towards Ning Xi is too strange and ambiguous? Zhang Wei questioned. Lu Tingxiao's tone was lazy and dangerous. I think I've made it clear enough. Since you still don't understand. Hearing this, Ning Xi's heart suddenly jumped to her throat, as if she could feel Zhang Wei's mood when he was waiting for Lu Tingxiao's answer. What would Lu Tingxiao say? After waiting for 3 seconds, which felt like 3 centuries, Lu Tingxiao's voice finally came through the audio. He said, "Do you understand?" Ning Xi was confused. What was going on? What did he understand? Just when Ning Xi thought she had heard something wrong and clicked the mouse to play again, Zhang Wei's cold voice came through the phone. Don't be hard of hearing. You didn't hear wrong. He only said 3 words. But before he said those 3 words, he kissed you in front of me. WH. What? Ning Xi was stunned. Why don't I know? You were drunk that night. It was the night the crew held a dinner party for me. Zhang Wei reminded her. Ning Xi finally remembered. It was the night she walked into the wrong room and was taken advantage of by Zhu Xiangchang. Lu Tingxiao had sent her back to the room and asked her to wait for him to go home after the party was over. After that, she passed out as soon as she saw Lu Tingxiao. She had no recollection of what happened after that. Zhang Wei was right beside her at that time. The conversation between him and Lu Tingxiao must have taken place at that time. Seeing that Ning Xi did not reply, Zhang Wei became even more disheartened. You still don't believe me, do you? I know that these two are not conclusive evidence. You can take the screenshot as Lu Tingxiao's perfunctory answer to his parents. I didn't even record the most important part of the conversation. There's no proof. After a long while, a sigh came from the other end of the phone. Zhang Wei, it doesn't matter whether I believe it or not. It doesn't affect my decision to sign with Golden Era. Even if he really has feelings for me, he won't take advantage of his position to do anything to me. He won't force me. Zhang Wei knew that it was all over when he heard Ning Xi's words. He did not expect Ning Xi to trust Lu Tingxiao so much. They had only known each other for a few months. Ning Xi continued, "Thank you. I know you care about me. There's a press conference tomorrow. I need to focus on this final battle. Let's meet up and talk about it after this is over. You'll be in Lu Tingxiao's trap by the time this is over. No, she's already at the bottom of the pit. So what if he knows? There's nothing he can do. And I'm not just concerned about you. What right does he have to look down on Lu Tingxiao's actions? What he's doing is not noble." Zhang Wei felt a deep sense of helplessness in his heart. See you later. Okay, bye. Ning Xi hung up the phone. It was as if all the energy in her body had been sucked out. She threw herself onto the bed and stared blankly at the ceiling. Until now, she still hadn't recovered from Zhang Wei's words. He kissed you in front of me. Perhaps it was because she was an actress with a strong visual sense and imagination. She could almost completely recreate the scene in her mind. His heart was beating faster and faster. Ning Xi took out her phone and quickly sent a WeChat message to Lu Tingxiao. Boss, I have to memorize the script for the press conference. You don't have to call me for dinner tonight. I'll just nibble on some fruits. I ate too much meat last night. It's perfect for me to lose weight. He tried his best to sound nonchalant. He shouldn't be able to see anything, right? She was clearly the best at pretending, but in front of Lu Tingxiao, she had no confidence at all. In the living room downstairs, Lu Tingxiao looked at Ning Xi's WeChat message. He raised his eyes and glanced at Ning Xi's room. Lu Jingli quickly leaned over to take a peek, and then his face was full of disappointment. Really, sister-in-law isn't cooking tonight? I was looking forward to it for nothing. I'm so sad. Then she rolled her eyes, put an arm around her brother's shoulder, and said earnestly, Zhang Wei must have been forced into a corner, right? Isn't this a little too harsh? Lu Tingxiao withdrew his gaze. His expression was like the surface of a lake blown by a breeze. Although there were ripples, it quickly returned to normal. He knew that this day would come sooner or later, and he had been waiting for this day. Although he had been treading on thin ice during this period of time, he had managed to get through it without any mishaps. This was already the best situation he could have imagined. What he had to do next was wait. Looking at his brother's expression, Lu Jingli couldn't help but worry for him. His brother had practically used up all his forbearance and restraint in these past few months. If something went wrong, he simply couldn't imagine what would happen to him. Ever since he met Ning Xi, he had really changed a lot. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he had been reborn. He really didn't want him to return to his original self, or even become even scarier. He decided that he would go to the temple tomorrow to pray for his brother. He had to kneel for a while longer. Ning Xi, who had promised to memorize a script, had been lying in bed for at least 2 hours. She didn't think of anything, and was in a completely empty state. Usually, when she encountered something extremely difficult to solve, she would use this method to relieve the pressure. When this method couldn't relieve the pressure, she could only choose some more extreme methods. However, it had been a long time since something could trouble her to this extent. Looking at the clock on the wall, it was almost 10 o'clock. Ning Xi finally got up and spent an hour memorizing the information that Lin Xi had given her. She had a solid foundation in lines, so it was quite easy for her to memorize these things. At this time, she suddenly realized that Little Bun hadn't come to find her all night. Lu Tingxiao must have told Xiao Bao that she was busy. After memorizing the information, Ning Xi prepared to go see Little Bun. Walking to the door of Little Bun's room, Ning Xi thought that the little guy must be asleep, so she gently pushed the door open. However, as soon as she opened the door a little, she saw that the warm yellow bedside lamp was on. She saw Little Bun leaning against the headboard and concentrating on playing with a Rubik's Cube. Lu Tingxiao sat on the edge of the bed with a trace of helplessness on his cold and stiff face. It's already 10:54. There's still 6 minutes until 11, Lu Tingxiao said. In other words, it was already very late, and she should go to sleep. Little Bun acted as if he hadn't heard anything and continued to focus on turning the cube. In just a few seconds, he had finished assembling it. Every side was the same color, and then he would mess it up and reassemble it. He repeated this process over and over again, as if he didn't know fatigue. Lu Tingxiao picked up a colorful fairy tale book on the bedside table that Ning Xi had bought before and asked expressionlessly, "Which one do you want to listen to?" Little Bun finally raised his head and looked at him, but his gaze seemed to be filled with disdain. Lu Tingxiao pinched his eyebrows and switched to another book, The Monarch. Little Bun was disdainful. Lu Tingxiao switched to A Brief History of Time. Little Bun was still uninterested. Lu Tingxiao finally gave up. He glanced at his watch and his face darkened. It's already 11 o'clock. Seeing that Lu Tingxiao was about to lose his temper, Ning Xi hurriedly coughed and knocked on the door. "Baby, you haven't slept yet." Just as she finished speaking, Little Bun, who was as still as a mountain on the bed, threw away the Rubik's Cube and ran over like a little whirlwind. He hugged her calf in an extremely practiced manner and raised his little head. His large eyes seemed to be electrifying as he stared at her. Ning Xi clutched her chest, indicating that she had suffered a blow.